1 week ago at Stanford, it was truly one of the amazing comebacks in college football history. The Cougars with a 49-42 win against the Stanford Cardinal. Here's how they did it. Down 42-14 in the third quarter. Rueben Mayes, a 39-yard touchdown run from scrimmage, and it was 42-21 Stanford. In the fourth quarter, quarterback Mark Rypien rolls to his left, gets inside the end zone, and it's 42-27. The extra point kick by John Trout was blocked. But then the Cougars get the football right back on the ensuing kickoff. The short kick by John Trout. It bounces away. Kevin Scott fumbles the football. It's going to be recovered by Kevin Thomason all the way down to the Stanford 5-yard line at Washington State. Right back with the football. The celebration by Kevin Thomason and everybody on the Cougar sideline. Washington State back with the football. On the very next play, Rueben Mayes, a 5-yard touchdown run, taking the pitch out from Mark Rypien, the left side, dives into the end zone. The 2-point conversion try was good. It was 42-35 Stanford. And then Rypien, 5:35 to go in the ball game. The little screen pass. Rueben Mayes, and Mayes goes 53 yards all the way, and the ball game is tied at 42-42. The ball game is a long way from being over as Washington State gets the football right back. Quarterback Fred Buckley, the senior quarterback for the Stanford Cardinal, a lot of pressure, dropping back to throw. Scrambles. The pass is off. Intercepted by Ron Collins. His second of 3 interceptions on the day, and he's run out of bounds at the Stanford 16-yard line. And then the winning score, 3:06 left to go in the contest, and Rueben Mayes, his 5th and final touchdown of the day, a 22-yard run, and the Cougars win it 49-42. And this afternoon, it's the Cougars of Washington State against the Oregon Ducks here on the Super Channel. From Watson Stadium here in Eugene, Oregon, it's the Cougars of Washington State against the Oregon Ducks. The Cougars 1-2 in the Pac-10. The Ducks with a record conference mark of 1-3 here on the Super Channel. Hello again, everybody. Rick Riz along with Paul Johns of the Seattle Seahawks. And Paul, the Cougars against the Oregon Ducks this afternoon, a little on the cloudy side, but quite a ball game last week. That 49-42 win against the Stanford Cardinal.
Yes, it was an amazing comeback, and the fact that the Cougars were down by 28 points with 5 minutes left in the third quarter. They were able to score 35 points in 20 minutes, but that's not the only case. The Cougar defense was able to stop the Cardinal offense from scoring any points while the Cougar offense was able to make up that deficit.
Talking about defense, the Oregon Ducks did a great job last week against number 1 ranked Washington. They held the Huskies to only 3 first downs, but lost that ball game 17-10.
Yes, the secondary for Stanford did a very good job because they're going against a very good Husky offense. I look for the Cougar offense to run the veer again, but I look for the Oregon defense to try to play the same type of defense that the Stanford defense did by playing zone, because in order to defense the veer very good, you have to play zone so everybody can look for it.
Here are some of the key players to watch this afternoon for the Cougars and the Oregon Ducks. First of all, quarterback Mark Rypien of the Washington State Cougars, doing a great job in throwing the football, and sophomore quarterback Chris Miller. Miller completing over 50% of his passes for over 1,000 yards, and Mark Rypien doing a good job.
Yes, Mark Rypien is number 1 in the Pac-10 in total offense, 188 yards of that being in the pass. He needs only 285 yards in passing to move into the top 10 spot in all-time passing for Cougar quarterback, so he's doing a very good job.
And 2 more of the exciting ball players will be Lou Barnes of the Oregon Ducks and also running back Rueben Mayes. Mayes, the great afternoon last week, over 200 yards, and Lou Barnes can catch a football.
Yes, Lou Barnes is 5'10", 164 pounds. He's an electrifying receiver. In fact, he can go deep for the ball, he can catch it, plus he's also a very good punt return man.
The Cougars against the Ducks, and we'll be back with the opening kickoff this afternoon right after these messages. Okay, Mike. Back once again, everybody. Rick Riz along with Paul Johns. Washington State against the Oregon Ducks. It is cloudy. We had some rain earlier today. It rained quite a bit yesterday, but we've got an exciting football game coming your way here on the Super Channel. The Cougars coming up with a victory last week in quite a ball game, Paul Johns. We talked about it on the pregame show, that 49-42. Excellent come-from-behind win against the Stanford Cardinal, their first of the Pac-10 season in 1984. They are 1-2 in the conference, 3-4 overall. Oregon getting ready to kick off to the Washington State Cougars, and we are underway. The deep men are Rick Chase into the end zone, and Chase will let it bounce. It'll stay in the end zone, and the Cougars have it, and we are underway here at Autzen Stadium. The Ducks with a record of 1-3 on the season in the Pac-10. They started off very well this year with a 4-0 record, winning their first 4 games, but losing their last 3. And last week they played quite a ball game against the number 1 ranked Washington Huskies, but losing 17-10. Jamie White, Dan Lynch, Kurt Ladinas, Kirk Samuelson, and Mike Dreyer, the offensive line for Washington State, 1st and 10 at their own 20. Marshall, James, and Olson are the receiving corps. Tight end Jamie Olson making a start. Rypien, Mayes, and Calvin in the backfield. On the first play from scrimmage, it's Mayes right over the middle, and Rueben, who had that great game last week against the Stanford Cardinal, punches out about 4 yards, and we're underway. David Culp on the tackle for the Ducks. Pretty good crowd this afternoon here at Autzen Stadium. It's homecoming for Oregon. Dale Dorning, Roland Coutsier, David Culp, and John Byrne along the defensive front line. The linebacking corps, Don Pelham, Bob Uditz, and Todd Welch. On second down, it is second down and 6. Rypien scrambles away. Rolling to his right, keeps the football. The 25 to the far sideline, and he's out of bounds at the Cougar 33-yard line, and he's got himself a first down.
That was one good job by Rypien then. He avoided the rush. As I said, the Ducks would play the zone defense. That's just what they played. Rypien didn't find a man open, was able to avoid the rush and pick up a first down. Good job.
Mark Rypien having a fine season for Washington State, throwing for well over 1,000 yards, completing over 50% of his passes. He is the number 1 total offense leader in the Pac-10 with over 200 yards, and he's throwing for an average of 188 yards a game. It's 1st and 10 for the Cougars. On first down, Rueben Mayes again, and he spins away for a couple of yards. Again on the tackle is David Culp for Oregon. That's a great job defensively last week against the Huskies. As you take a look at Rueben Mayes, who had the 5 touchdown runs against the Stanford Cardinal. Rick Chase and Sam Burst now checking into the ball game, and coming out is John Marshall for Washington State. It is second down and 5 for the Cougars at their own 38-yard line. Rick Riz along with Paul Johns from Autzen Stadium. Glad you could join us for all the play-by-play today. In motion to the near side is Sam Burris. On second down, Rypien puts it up. The outlet pass to Chase. The 40, 45, has the first down, 50, and he's down to Duck territory at the Oregon 46 or 45-yard line. On the tackle is Dan Wilkin, the free safety. Nice little catch and nice run upfield by Rick Chase.
Yes, it was. This is the same play that the Cougars used last week against Stanford. A quick screen and allowed Chase, who's a very good man, to find the open seam to get the ball and do a good job. This play was very effective last week, and so far, the first time it's been run today, it's very effective.
So it's another 1st and 10 for the Cougars at the Oregon 46-yard line. The Cougars have not moved the football at all in the first half this year. They are doing so this afternoon up the middle to the 40-yard line. Again, Rueben Mayes. He was a workhorse last week, wasn't he? 29 carries, 216 yards, and 5 touchdowns, and you can't do much better than that.
No, you cannot, but you expect your good running backs to be a workhorse. He has to be in shape because you know he's going to get the ball, and he has to accept the responsibility.
Cougars moving the football all the way down to the Oregon 41-yard line. It is second down and 4. A 6-yard carry by Rueben Mayes. In motion and behind the quarterback, Rypien is Sandhurst heading out to the far side, and the handoff over the middle goes Calvin, and Calvin gets maybe a couple of yards and then is pulled back by David Culp, and Culp already has at least 4 tackles along with Todd Welch, the right linebacker. They use a 4-man defensive front. The Oregon Ducks, who limited the Washington Huskies 1 week ago to only 3 first downs. That's incredible.
that's doing a very good job. And like I said, they were going against a very good Washington offense. Even though Washington's sputtering, they still are a good offense.
Third down and 2 for Washington State. Down to the duck, close to the 37-yard line. Michael James into the ball game in motion. Rypien, handoff over the middle. Mayes and Rueben. Looks like he's got the first down. Plenty of yardage for the first down, all the way down to the duck 33-yard line. Don Pelham, the left linebacker, and Dan Wilkin, the free safety, again on the stop, and it's another first down for Washington State.
Very rarely will you find the first tackler getting Mayes down. He's just so strong, he's able to break that first tackle.
Now here's what the Cougars have done by quarters. Only 7 points in the first quarter all season long. And look at that, 87 points in the fourth quarter for their 185 points. It's 1st and 10 for the Cougars, their third first down on their first drive of the day. The pitch out goes to Mayes, and he gets close to the duck 31-yard line, and that's about it. Bob Huditz, the middle linebacker who leads the ball club with 77 tackles, now make it 78 on the stop for Oregon. They're going to keep their eyes on that quick pitch, aren't they? We had a chance to talk with head coach Rich Brooks yesterday afternoon after practice.
Yes, they're definitely going to stop that quick pitch. That's a key play for Washington State. And in order to stop their offense, you have to stop the quick pitch and also the counter dive.
2nd down and 8 for the Cougars. Sun breaking through here at Autzen Stadium. It was very cloudy earlier today. Rypien, again the pass to Chase to the near side, the 20, and he's all the way down to the duck 14-yard line where it's going to be another first down for the Cougars. Rick Chase already a second catch of the ball game.
That was another quick screen, but that was a devastating block by Jamie White, the offensive tackle who led that quick screen. Rick Chase just followed that big wall and picked up a lot of yards. Here you see Jamie White, that beautiful block on the cornerback.
And Holbert, a good job to spin away off a block, and then he is credited with the tackle, but a good job again by Rick Chase, his second catch of the day. He had 5 catches last week, and that 49-42 win against Stanford. 1st and 10 for the Cougars down to the duck, 13-yard line. Motion is Breland into the ball game. Rypien rolling to his right as Mayes pitches it out to Ruben, the 10, the 5, cuts away all the way down to the duck 4-yard line. Tackled by Doug Judge, the strong safety for the Ducks. So the Cougars right away moving the ball against the Oregon defense.
This is a very, very effective drive. They're able to do what they want to do. They run the ball when they want to and pass when they want to. So far, they're just doing everything they want to do.
Head coach Rich Brooks on the Oregon sideline, been coaching some 26 years in the collegiate and the professional ranks, professionally with the Los Angeles Rams and the San Francisco 49ers. It is 2nd down and 1 for the Cougars at the duck 4-yard line. James and Chase wide to the left side, but over the middle goes Calvin, and Richard Calvin down to the duck 1-yard line. Richard Calvin on the carry.
Seems a little disappointed. He felt to have scored on that play. He did one good job of trying to get in there, but a little bit, I think it was too many men for him to carry all that weight.
Look how close. Nose of the football, very close to the goal line. It is 1st and goal for the Cougars, only 6 inches away. And we have 9.5 minutes to go here in the first quarter. The Cougars ready to score. And Rypien takes it himself. Touchdown, Washington State. No doubt about it. What a drive by the Cougars. And Washington State leads 6-0 as they drive all the way downfield. 9:24 to go here in the first quarter, Paul.
Yes, and if you think about it, they broke that string of not being able to score in the first quarter. As we see it again, Rypien just quarterback sneak, goes over the left side, follows some good blocking, and he's tall and he can just fall into the end zone.
Great drive by Washington State. The 1-yard run by quarterback Mark Rypien. And it's 6-0. Washington State as John Trout comes on for the extra point. Snap from center and the kick is up, and it is perfect right through the uprights. And it's now the Cougars 7 and Oregon nothing with 9:24 to go here in the first quarter of play.
Who's here?
And very quickly, the Cougars up on the board here in the first quarter. They lead the Oregon Ducks by a score of 7-0. An 80-yard touchdown drive capped by that short 1-yard run by quarterback Mark Rypien. And just like that, the Cougars with a quick 7 points. The deep man for Oregon is number 8, Tony Newman. He's averaging 20 yards a return, along with Tony Cherry, number 28. He ran at the Oregon goal line. It is homecoming for the Oregon Duck fans here at Autzen Stadium. Had a good crowd on hand, despite the cool temperatures and the rain we had yesterday.
Yes, it's good to see the sun coming out.
You better believe it. John Trout ready to kick it away for Washington State. He played a big role in last week's 49-42 win against Stanford. That big kick that was fumbled by Kevin Scott, end over end. Short kick taken at the 8-yard line by Newman. Newman to 20-25 across the 30, sheds a couple of tacklers, and he's all the way down to the Duck 40-yard line. So an excellent return by Anthony Newman. Took it at his own 8-yard line all the way out to the Oregon 40. Good job.
Yes, it was a good job, but what the key to that is it was a short kick. That doesn't allow your defensive people to get down and cover the ball well. He has one missed tackle, he follows his blockers up and has a very good run down the sideline.
Newman, only a freshman, 6'1", 185. So the Ducks with the football, led by sophomore quarterback Chris Miller. Miller knocked out of the ball game last week against the Washington Huskies in the second quarter. And the handoff goes to Alex Mack, the fullback. And Mack across the 40 gains about close to 5 yards. Rico Tipton on the tackle for Washington State. Mack, 48 carries coming into the ball game, 196 yards for an average of 4.1 yards a carry and 2 touchdowns this year. The other running back, tailback Kevin McCall. Second down and 10. Gain of 8 yards on the carry, out of the I formation. Wide to the right is Barnes and Holman, and the handoff goes to the tailback McCall, and McCall gets across the 45 all the way down to the Duck 47-yard line. Tackled by Lee Blakeney. Kevin McCall, averaging 3.5 carries a ball game this year, 351 yards on the season, and 3 touchdowns. They don't run the football all that much. I think they're averaging about 124 yards on the ground, Paul.
Yeah, I think they want to try to establish a run game because Washington State knows they're going to pass, so why not try to run?
Split backs. It is third down and 3. Oregon with the football at their own 47. And the handoff back, and he is tackled right as he took the exchange from Chris Miller. In the backfield, Brad Harrington is there as they peel off the pile. But the first man to get him was Milford Hodge to make the stop. A loss on the play. Back to the 45, and a great job by the Cougar defense and Milford Hodge.
Milford had a good game last week, so it seems like he's just picking up where he left off. No one touched him. He came through the gap between the center and guard and makes a tackle behind the line of scrimmage.
And Mike Preacher will come on to punt it away for the Ducks at his own 32-yard line. And the kick is off. And this one will sail into the end zone. The deep man was backup quarterback Ed Blunt. The Cougars will have it first and 10 at their own 20-yard line. Washington State right back with the football, leading Oregon by a score of 7-0 here at Autzen Stadium with 7:27 to go here in the first quarter. Mike Preacher on the far sideline. That's the sunshine sideline here at Autzen Stadium. We're directly under the bleachers across the way. And the Cougars again go right back against the Oregon defense.
That was one heck of a kick. That ball seemed to shoot off his foot.
Good bunt by Mike Preacher. On first down, Rypien. The handoff goes to Calvin. Calvin over the left side of the line, and he picks up a couple of yards. Tackled by John Byrne, the defensive right end for Oregon. Ducks are 4-3 overall on the season. Trying to snap a 3-game losing streak. It is second down and 8. Mark Rypien and the Cougars at their own 23-yard line. They'll make it to 22. Batted away. The pass by Rypien. Up with the hands is the defensive left end, Dale Dorning. He's 6'4", 255. A senior got up there to knock the pass away, and there was no doubt about it.
Exactly. One reason why he was able to do that is because if you're going to throw a quick pass like that, the defensive end has to be cut, or you have to have someone going at his knees so he can't jump up. But no one touched him. They would just jump up and knock the ball down.
3rd down and 8 for the Cougars, just across their own 22-yard line. Michael James into the ball game along with John Marshall, split out to the near sideline. And now James starts off in motion. Mark setting up, pass over the middle, and it's going to be incomplete. That one is batted away, intended for Marshall over the middle, but batted away by Dan Wilkin, the free safety.
That was a good play by Dan Wilkin. The ball, he was covered very well. You see Rypien drops back. The ball, he's covered very well. Dan Wilkin comes over the shoulder, and he seems like he tries to force that pass because he wasn't open by any means.
Tough to get it in there.
Yes.
Wilkin is there. Glenn Harper back to punt it. No! Keeping the football. Rick Chase, the 40, the 45, the 50. They go all the way. The 30, the 20, the 10. Rick Chase, touchdown Cougars. Unbelievable. The fake punt. It goes to Rick Chase, and he goes all the way. And the Cougars right away with a 13-0 lead against the Ducks.
That was a very good play to call. Who's going to think that the Cougars are going to try a fake punt early in the game? Gets the short, goes to the up back. He gets it. It's nothing but running room. And Rick Chase is used to finding his running room behind his blockers. He follows the last blocker, cuts back. No one's going to touch him. Almost like a punt return for him.
Owen Chappelle makes sure that nobody touches him the last 20 yards, and Trout on for the extra point. And this is John's already second try of the ball game. The kick is up, and it is good. And just like that, with 6:39 to go in the first quarter, it's the Cougars 14 and the Ducks nothing. An unbelievable start here at Autzen Stadium for Washington State.
14 points in the first quarter.
Wow. That one goes 78 yards. A touchdown run by Rick Chase.
They have everyone fooled. They're coming to block the punt because Washington State hasn't had a lot of success with their special teams, and their punter's had his punts blocked a number of times. Coach Walden probably said, if they're going to come that hard, then we're going to just have a fake punt and see what we can do with it.
And just like that, the Cougars have a very quick start, 14-0 against the Ducks.
It's going to make the Ducks defense play much safer next time. They won't come rushing as hard.
Again, Tony Cherry and Anthony Newman, the deep end for Oregon, back at their own goal line. And Trout will tee it up at his own 40. Rick Chase, the 78-yard touchdown run. The Cougars sideline, big smile on his face, a slap on the shoulder pad.
He's a walk-on.
Chase had 5 catches last week. He was the leading pass catcher in that win against the Stanford Cardinal. He had 5 for 64 yards for an average of 12.8 a catch. Marshall had 4. Calvin Burris each had 2 in that ball game. And Mays, Sears, and Michael James each had 1. The kick by Trout, then over in. Again, a little on the short side. This time it's going to be taken by Cherry to his own 12-yard line. The 20, 25, the 30, back toward midfield. The 35, the 40. The only man, John Trout, to try to stop him. And Trout can't get him. The 30, the 20. Coming back is Ron Collins, and he saves the touchdown. Ron Collins on the tackle to get a hold of Tony Cherry, but he gets all the way down to the Cougar, close to the Cougar 18-yard line, and what a return by Tony Cherry.
First of all, it comes again from having a short kick. You're allowed a runner to catch the ball on the run. The defense people don't have time to get down on the coverage. Good blocking and good running by Tony Cherry, and that's what happens usually when you have a short kick.
John Trout here says, I'm in trouble. I got to try to get him, but he doesn't. Stays in bounds, and it's Ron Collins to save the touchdown, but the Ducks with the football all the way down to the 18. The pass by Miller to the near sideline, and it's incomplete intended for Lou Barnes, who was low and underthrown.
They're trying to do a little quick out to get the ball in his hands to see what he can do after he catches it, but the ball was thrown too far outside and too far in front of him.
6:24 to go in the first quarter. The Cougars lead the Ducks 14-0. Quarterback Chris Miller coming back from that mild concussion suffered last week. 2nd down and 10. Wide to the right is Barnes. The MVP for the Ducks a year ago in his first year with the ball club. Going to his right. And the pitch off to Alex Mack, and Mack gets it close to across the 15, all the way down to the Cougar 14-yard line, but a flag is thrown. Maybe offensive holding against Oregon. That's the indication from the referee. So penalty will go against the Ducks. So the Cougars hoping that might slow things down a little bit as the Ducks way down inside right now. Cougar territory.
Many times when you're inside the 20, your defense will go to man-to-man. Now they've been pushed back. They may go back to a zone, but I would look for them to maybe in man-to-man. I look for Oregon to try to take advantage of that with Lou Barnes.
He's their main man to throw the football to. He is not, though, the leading receiver on the ball club. Kevin McCall leads the ball club with 27 receptions coming out of the backfield. It is 2nd down and 19 after the offensive holding penalty against the Ducks, and Miller rolling to his right. Pressure gets away from Krakowski. Cuts back toward midfield at 25 to 20. Keeps the football, and he is down at the 16-yard line. Finally taken down by linebacker Jeff Loomis. A nice bit of running by sophomore quarterback Chris Miller. Takes a little breather right there.
It's a rollout. And instead of Washington State being in a man-to-man, they're in a zone. He's looking for Barnes, and Barnes well covered, so he has to take the ball upfield. Does a very good job of scrambling.
If there's any concern about Miller's health, and if he can run the football, I think they're answering very well right now. Did a good job to avoid a couple of tacklers. It is 3rd down and 8. At the Cougar 17-yard line. Dropping back, looking over the middle, passes off, and it is going to be complete down to the Cougar 10-yard line. Doug Herman, the tight end from Renton, Washington, over the middle was open. Pass was a little low, but a nice catch by Doug Herman, and the Ducks down to the Cougar 10. It is 3rd down. They'll make it 4th down and 1. 4th and 1 for the Ducks. Gerald Waters checks out of the ballgame defensively for Washington State. Eric Elliott also into the ballgame along with Doug Herman. 2 tight ends, and they will go for it. The Ducks to go for it. 4th and 1. And now timeout is called by the Ducks, and quarterback Chris Miller wants to talk things over with head coach Rich Brooks.
I'm sure he does. He may have seen something he didn't like as far as the play they had called. Washington State may have had a different defense, so instead of running a play that you might not think it's worth, call timeout. That's what they're there for. You don't want to make any mistakes anytime, especially on 4th and 1. Got to get first 10 yard line, and the Cougars are taking it right here. What a time ball game next to me.
Crowd here at Autzen Stadium a little bundled up because of the The sun is out and it's not raining. It was raining earlier, right before the opening kickoff. At the crowd, it's Washington State on Oregon Ducks. Fans here in Eugene, Chris Miller, right here from Eugene. Sophomore season, in the last couple of ball games in 1983. They've over from senior quarterback Mike Jorgensen. Jorgensen had to play quite a bit the last week against the Huskies when Miller was out of there. 4th down. Scoreboard has 1 yard line. Ball on the Cougar 10-yard line. Big play right here for Oregon. Cougars lead 14-0. And flags are thrown all over the field. Let's see who went offsides. Oregon or Washington State, illegal procedure against the Ducks. Let's see.
It looked to me like Oregon on the left side, someone may have jumped.
Well, that could be Ray Wheatley, the left guard, or Greg Schwab, or possibly the center, Ken Warner, as the referees and the other officials talk things over. But all the referees lost their flags on that one. 4:39 to go in the first period.
They're having a big conference there.
So speaking of the referees, Gordon Reese is the referee. The umpire, James Coyne. Linesman is Ray Highsmith. And saying is they're going to do it again. They're going to do it again. Look at everybody moving. The left guard, the left Oregon.
The defense is allowed to move. The offense cannot move until the ball snap.
And the men in the striped jerseys, Reese and Coyne and Highsmith, and Howard Slavin, Lee Cook, Dan Hill, and Matt Gilchrist are the judges. The line judge, the field judge, the back judge, and the side judge.
I guess the judge said, no, hey, it was too close for anybody to call. Let's just do it over again.
He said, well, let's try one more time, and hopefully nobody will jump the gun. It is 4th and 1, and the Ducks will try it one more time. In motion is Barnes, and behind Miller. And the pitch out goes to McCall. McCall turns the corner, has the first down. The 5, and he's down and out of bounds at the Cougars 3-yard line. Has it 1st and goal for the Ducks. Inside the 5, tackled by Cedric Brown.
When everybody's caught up in the inside, sometimes the best play to run is a sweep. This is just what they ran here. Pick up ample enough yardage to get the first down.
Cedric Brown on the tackle, but McCall delivered a pretty good hit as he was driven out of bounds, and now it's 1st and goal at the Cougar 3-yard line. McCall dives, and he's in there. Touchdown, Oregon, and the Ducks have their first score of the afternoon. A 3-yard run by Kevin McCall, diving over the left side in behind Wheatley and Greg Schwab. And for Kevin McCall, his 4th touchdown of the season. As you look at it one more time.
It's a dive play, he cuts back inside. He gets hit, but he's flipped and just crosses the goal line. It's a good run, good drive. But what started that all off was a long kick return.
Matt McLeod will come out to try for the extra point as McCall heads on over to the Duck bench. So McLeod will try for the extra point. And keeping the football is Miller. Pass off into the end. No, it's not. Miller's still with the football, and now he is taken down at the Cougar 5-yard line. So they try a little razzle-dazzle of their own, but it doesn't work. The Cougars are right there to defend on the play and to keep right on quarterback Chris Miller, who is the holder on the extra points.
I'm a little surprised that they would try to go for 2 early in the game, but you can't second guess the coach. I guess he felt that going for 2 was the best thing right now.
There's the score. The Cougars 14 and the Ducks 6. So they gambled, and this time they came up short, and a good job defensively by Washington State. 14-6, so that could loom to be a big play a little bit later on, and
yes,
that's been the situation for at least the last 3-4 ball games for the Cougars. In those close losses to USC, to UCLA, and then that amazing win last week at Palo Alto. Wow. Rick Chase had that 78-yard touchdown run, the deep man for the Cougars at his own goal line. That was on a fake punt by Harper, who went to Chase, and he went 78 yards for the Cougars' 2nd score already in this ball game. We have 4:29 on the clock here in the first period. Waiting for the Oregon Ducks is Dean Otto. He's a kick man. He's from South Africa. Walked down and made this ball club. Dean Otto played a lot of soccer. Of course, that's a big background for a lot of the kickers now in football.
I'm sure it is. You have to use your feet to kick the ball. In soccer, they know how to control the ball very well.
Next week, the Cougars will take on Oregon State. You can follow all the action right here on the Super Channel. Waiting for the Oregon Ducks is Dean Otto. He's a kick man. He's from South Africa. Walked down and made this ball club. Dean Otto played a lot of soccer. Of course, that's a big background for a lot of the kickers now in football.
I'm sure it is. You have to use your feet to kick the ball. In soccer, they know how to control the ball very well.
Next week, the Cougars will take on Oregon State. You can follow all the action right here on the Super Channel. Rick Riz along with Paul Johns as you take a look at head coach Rich Brooks. Arms folded. Wanted the 2-point conversion. Did not get it. Rich Brooks, outstanding football player himself at Oregon State. Kick kick is off. Chase lets it roll in and out of the end zone. Washington State back to football. Matter of fact, getting back to Rich Brooks, he was a defensive back and also a backup quarterback at Oregon State. The young man who won the Heisman Trophy that year, quarterback Terry Baker, graduated from Oregon State in 1963. 4:29 to go in the first quarter. We have seen a lot of activity already here at Autzen Stadium. Officials talking things over. What do you think's going on right here, Paul? Talking with middle linebacker Bob Huditz. And going to have a penalty against Washington State, but it's declined. Obviously in the last kick, head coach Jim Walton.
You're seeing more and more illegal use of hands on kick returns because they're not allowed to block below the waist anymore. So players, to avoid that, they just push. I guess I'd rather have someone push me than to clip me and block below my waist.
Michael James wide to the near side, wide to the right is John Marshall. 1st and 10 for the Cougars. Rueben Mayes still on his feet and bangs his way down to the Cougar 26-yard line. Dan Wilkin on the stop for the Ducks. Rueben Mayes is one tough runner.
Yes, he is. He makes it tough. He makes it tough on defensive backs because when he breaks through, defensive backs know this is a workhorse coming through here, and I have to throw my body out because I'm the last person that can make the tackle.
29 carries last week, picks up 6 yards on that last carry. Is 2nd down and 4. From the end zone camera, Mark Rypien looking over the defense. Rueben Mayes one more time as he gets close to the Cougar 30. David Cope on the stop.
Don Pelham and David Cope on the stop.
David Cope, number 72, 6'4", 296, a senior. Where's the beef?
Oh, goodness. That's a big guy.
Is that right? 296. 2nd down and 10 for the Cougars. Just across their own 28-yard line. Split backs. Handoff goes to Calvin. Calvin near the 30, but I don't know if he got enough for the first down. The first agreement is John Byrne, the defensive right end, along with Huditz, the middle linebacker.
I don't think he got it. It was a good trick penetration by defensive line. I think they stopped him.
So not enough for the first down. They needed to get to the 30, but the nose of the football a few inches away. And Harper will try for a punt. Or will he? The last time it went to Chase and he ran 78 yards.
I don't think they're going to rush as hard as they did last time.
There's the kick. Spiral, and it's going to be taken by Lou Barnes at his 18-yard line. Toward the middle, across the 20, toward the far sideline, and he is nailed down at the Duck 23-yard line.
Very good coverage by Washington State. The guys kept their lanes, didn't allow anyone to block them.
Titus Jackson on the tackle downfield. Good tackle.
You better get down the field on this man because he's dangerous. If he finds a hole, he can break this thing all the way, but he doesn't find the hole, and the pursuit is good. And they make him run parallel to line of scrimmage, and you can't pick up yards when you do that.
Just flatten them. Barnes averaging 9.1 yards a return. The Ducks have the football at their own 24-yard line. 1st and 10. 2:34 to go here in the first quarter. Cougars leading 14-6. The call, the tailback over the right side across the 25 down to the 27. And that is about it. Milford Hodge on the tackle. Head coach Rich Brooks. Milford Brooks, his 8th year here at the University of Oregon. Winning season back in 1979 when he went 6-5 and was named the Pac-10 Coach of the Year and also the District 9 College Coach of the Year. Gain of 3, 2nd down and 7. Pass to the near sideline. Whoa! And incomplete, intended for Lou Barnes.
They don't seem to be able to hook up right now. That was just a 5-yard stop route, and the ball bounced to him before it got.
Scooped it up on the short hop, but the low pass. Well, no.
No, it wasn't. He just
made it all the way there. From our angle, it looked like it had bounced. But Lou Barnes just couldn't hang on to the football, so it's 3rd down and 7. From the eye, they go to the split backs. All in back in the backfield. Passing down, Miller to throw. Steps up the pocket and gets creamed at the Duck 19-yard line. He stepped up in the pocket and met about 2 tacklers. One of them was Rob Cleveland. And the other is Eric Howard.
He got hit real hard. I guess next time he won't step up as fast, boy, because the lane closed real hard on him.
There's Howard. 4th and 14, and the Cougars will have good field position. Eric Howard on the Cougar sideline. Mike Preacher on the punt. He's going to put it away about his own 9-yard line. Ed Blunt is the deep man for Washington State. Blunt coming up to the far side, gets it at the 47, and he is nailed there. Wow. Downfield right away. Dan Devaney to make the quick hit on Ed Blunt.
That's a punt returner's nightmare. You don't know whether the fair catch or catching and run, and this time he may have been better the fair catch. But he held onto the ball, and that's the most important thing.
Good job to hang on to the football. 1st and 10 for the Cougars. That's going to be at their own 40, close to the 48-yard line. Sam Burris and Marshall to the left side. James to the right. 14-6, Cougars out in front. Rypien rolling to his left. Complete to Marshall, the 45, and out of bounds at the Duck 42-yard line. Close to the first down, but inches shy of Ed Holbert, depending on the play for the Ducks.
That's a very nice route against a zone defense. The outside receiver runs straight down the field to clear it out. The inside receiver runs about 8 yards and just rounds it out toward the sideline. It's a rollout pass by Rypien. He finds the open man, picks up almost a first down. It may be a first down, maybe a little short.
Very, very close to the first down, and it's going to be just about 6 inches shy. A few inches away from a 1st and 10 for the Cougars, who are number 1 in the Pac-10. And garnering up the first downs. Number 1 in total offense. Mark Rypien doing a good job throwing the football for close to 200 yards, 188-yard average, over 200 yards total offense. Rueben Mayes, the number 1 rusher in the Pac-10 with his 861 yards coming into the ball game. And Paul, he is number 5 in the nation in rushing the football.
With these guys, with Rypien, number 1 in the Pac-10, and Mayes, number 1, you wonder why their record isn't better than it is. That's because the special teams haven't been doing a good job, and they take so long to score points usually in previous games.
2nd down, less than a yard. Takes the pitch, pass, open, is Michael James, and he spins all the way down to the goal line, but he steps out of bounds at the Duck 4-yard line. What a catch by Michael James. Dan Wilkin knocked him out of bounds.
That was a beautiful play. You only need 6 inches to go, so instead of running the ball, you send Michael James down the line of scrimmage. He comes in motion and just keeps going. Runs past the defensive back, runs behind everyone, and it's wide open.
Michael James, and he just was spinned around enough by Wilkin to step out of bounds at the Duck. Well, the football is just on the other side of the 5-yard line. 1st and goal for the Cougars, just inside the 5. Chance to score one more time with only 58 seconds to go in the first quarter. Whistles and a timeout is called. And quarterback Mark Rypien goes over to the near sideline to talk it over with head coach Jim Walden and the rest of the coaching staff. Likes the Cougars attack in the first quarter of play. Again, the pass from Mark Rypien. Here's the fake pitch to Rueben Mayes, and that kind of opens the path for Michael James.
Yes, it does. With Rueben Mayes being such an effective runner, the first person you have to key and look for is Rueben Mayes. So why not fake the ball to him and throw it to someone ran down the sideline? It was effective.
That keeps everybody busy in the defensive backfield when you have Rueben Mayes, who took that pitch last week and ran for 5 touchdowns. 14-6, our score here in the first quarter, winding down with 58 seconds to go. It is 1st and goal at the Duck 5-yard line. The time and the score here at Autzen Stadium on their brand new scoreboard. It's making its debut today here at homecoming afternoon. Dan Devaney into the ball game at linebacker for Oregon. 1st and goal. Calvin and Richard pulls his way down to the Duck 2 or 3 yard line. On the stop is Dan Devaney, who just checked in defensively for the Ducks.
This is why as we see the trap play on the other side, it's not in the camera, but the defensive secondary are playing man-to-man now. They follow the receivers all the way out of the end zone. That's why you don't want to play man-to-man most of the time against a veer offense.
You saw Michael James check into the ball game. He splits way outside to the right. Second and goal at the 3-yard line. The pitch out goes to Mayes. Cuts upfield. He's got the touchdown. Washington State and Rueben Mayes the touchdown. And the Cougars with 17 seconds to go here in the first quarter are way out in front of Oregon, 20-6 on the 3-yard touchdown run for Rueben Mayes. He had 5 last week.
It's a quick pitch. He cuts inside. It's a beautiful block. Beautiful block by Mike Dyer to allow Rueben Mayes to cut inside, and there's no one there to make the tackle.
Jim Walden very pleased with his horses. Rueben Mayes, his first touchdown of the afternoon. Maybe more on the way he runs the football. A kick by Trout, and it is good, no doubt about it. And the Cougars with 17 seconds to go here in the first quarter. Our score, Washington State 21 and the Ducks 6.
One thing about the scoreboard is getting a good initiation. It's getting a great workout today.
Sure is. Cougars with a big lead over the Oregon Ducks. We were looking for a defensive battle because of the game the Ducks played last week against the Washington Huskies when they limited the Huskies to only 3 first downs and 109 yards total offense. 70 passing, just a little over 30 on the ground. Amazing. Oh, I think it was vice versa. I'm sorry. About 70 on the ground.
I guess what we didn't realize how potent the Cougars offense is.
Number 1.
That's right. It's number 1 in the Pac-10, and we overlooked that fact.
Some of the friends here at Autzen Stadium enjoying the popcorn. I'm sure going through a lot of hot coffee. A little on the chilly side. Deep men for Oregon. Tony Cherry and Anthony Newman. Cherry did a great job last time on the kick as he brought it all the way down to the Cougar 18-yard line, and that's where the Ducks came on to score on a 3-yard run by Kevin McCall. That came with 4:29 on the clock. The kick by Trout. This time it's going to be deep, and it sends Cherry into the end zone and will stay there. So the first deep kick of the afternoon by John Trout, and this time no return, Paul.
I'm sure he was told on the sidelines, John, you're going to have to get that ball deep if you want to stop these run backs, and I'm sure he got himself pumped up, and he did a very good job.
First and 10 for the Ducks at their own 20-yard line. Cougars leading 21-6. Washington State. There you see the score and the time left to go here in the first period. Washington State beat the Ducks last year 24-7 in Pullman. Duck cheerleaders on the far sideline. Washington State won in 1982, 10-3 here in Eugene, and won again in 81, 39-7 in Pullman. The pitch out to McCall, the near sideline, across the 20. McCall gets a proud 3 yards.
They brought Lou Barnes around as though they were going to run a reverse. But he didn't give it to him, and McCall just kept the ball, picked up a few yards. I'm sure maybe later on in the game they would run that reverse, but this time they just kind of wanted to give him something to look at.
And the clock runs down here in the first quarter with our score. It's Washington State 21 and Oregon 6. We'll be back with more in the second quarter right after these messages. The Ducks with the football, second down and 7 at their own 23-yard line. Long count by Miller, dropping back. Deep over the middle, and it is incomplete all the way down to the Cougar 30-yard line, intended for Lou Barnes. Cedric Brown defended on the play, and Chris Miller can put the football up.
Yes, they were going for that deep man. They were going for something deep, trying to make something happen. Rick Reynolds had very good coverage because Lou Barnes just ran deep, no moves, just trying to split the zone, and the ball is barely off his fingertips.
Just a little bit overthrown. Wow.
That was good coverage.
Reynolds was covering on the play. Cedric Brown came in behind him. Third down and 7 at the Duck 23. 21-6, Cougars out in front. Miller has to put the football up in trouble. The flag is thrown. Pass over the middle. Incomplete, intended again for Lou Barnes, but it was overthrown as the ball sailed out to midfield. But a flag is thrown back at the Duck 15-yard line. There's the hanky.
Could be holding against Oregon.
And if it is, they will decline, and Oregon will punt it away. Now the special team unit on for Washington State. And it's 4th down and 7, and Mike Preacher will have to kick it away for the Ducks. So good job defensively by Washington State.
Yes,
great game all around.
You keep Oregon back in bad field position, and if it's a good return, they can be across on their own, across the 50-yard line in good field position for the Cougars.
Preacher's at his own 10, steps up and gets it away. Ed Blunt waiting at his own 31-yard line, and is down at the Cougar 34. The offense back down the field. Greg Aitkenhead downfield. Make the stop on Ed Blunt.
Mike Preacher has been punting that ball great so far today. I guess if you have a punter like that, he can get you out of bad field position.
Tell you what, Paul, looking at the flags right above the new scoreboard here at Autzen Stadium, pretty stiff wind blowing across and a little bit in his face.
And he kicked that ball.
Yes, he did. Did a good job. Dan Devaney entered the ballgame as a linebacker for the Ducks. 1st and 10 for the Cougs at their own 34-yard line. Wind kicks up. Rueben Mayes can't find too much running room over the left side.
We were just talking about the wind blowing away from us. The man blew right in our face.
Losing a lot of the papers up here in our press box. The Cougars sideline. And right now they are coasting, leading 21-6 early in the second quarter.
Must be a new feeling for them. I know they're not used to being ahead in the first half. They don't know what to do.
They have come out fired up. Chase in motion. Rypien gets the football and he's down to the Cougar 40-yard line. It was 2nd down and 7. David Culp on the tackle. Mark Rypien. Dale Dorning and David Culp combined on the tackle for the Ducks. 3rd down and 4. At the 40-yard line. Motion is Sam Burks. Rueben Mayes over the middle, and he's got the first down across the 45, and Mayes out to the Cougar 46. Dan Wolken on the stop, but not enough, or not in time, as Mayes picked up the 1st and 10.
That was a good run by Mayes because he was hit before he got the first down. And like I say, usually one man is not going to bring Mayes down, and one man didn't. He broke the first tackle and picked up enough yards for the first down.
Rueben Mayes, 861 yards, and we'll get you an update on what Rueben has done in this ballgame. 1st and 10 at the Cougar 46. The pitch out to Mayes, and he is stopped right away. Got back to the line of scrimmage. Is grabbed by David Culp and Dale Dorning.
I guess when David Culp hit him 296 pounds, that's enough one man to stop him. But he had to have help.
Poutsier came on to help him. Roland Poutsier. And David Culp. He is big.
That's a big man.
196 pounds. One man wide. Gain of a yard. It is 2nd down and 9. Motion is Marshall. Quick pass. Chase, and it flew on the high side, and he can't find the handle. Right there, depending on the play, though, is Ed Hulbert for Oregon. And it goes incomplete. Rain starting to fall here at Autzen Stadium. Again, that quick outlet pass to Rick Chase.
Yes, they were going for that quick screen again. If he catches, if the ball is strong good, he has some running room because he can elude this one man. Usually you allow a guy like this with some moves to beat one man. But the ball strong's a little high, and
Tell you one thing, with the light drizzle that's falling right now, that makes it a little bit tougher for the quarterback to get a real good grip on the football. It is 3rd down and 9. Rypien looking for an open man, slips and falls on the wet turf, trying to turn the corner, got out to the 48-yard line, but goes down there. Todd Welch comes on for the stop, but actually Rypien really slipping, trying to make his cut upfield.
Exactly. I was going to say, we were down on the field yesterday, and I was kind of stopping and going, trying to see what the footing was like. And I noticed that it was a little bit slippery. Even though it's turf, it's still just a little bit slippery.
4th down and 9. And Harper to punt it away at his own 35-yard line. Lou Barnes is deep for the Ducks. Kick is off high in the air. Barnes back to his own 6-yard line. You see him slip and fall and kick up some water when he tried to get his footing. So this is going to be a treacherous turf the rest of the afternoon.
Yes, it is, and one of the guidelines, as we see, it's a beautiful punt, and I'll say one of the guidelines is use it with punt returns to talk. If the ball goes over your head past the 10-yard line, you don't field it. And when you're in college, once you get on your knees, you're down. So it was a touchy play by Lou Barnes, and this time it wasn't in his favor.
Looking at head coach Rich Brooks as you take a look at the turf and now the Cougars sideline. Timeout is called by Oregon. A flag is thrown at the 45-yard line. A penalty against the Ducks, I believe. But the turf looks nice and dry, but you saw that the water that was kicked up by Barnes as he tried to get his footing and trying to field the punt. Head coach Jim Walden gets the call from the referee. 11:42 to go here in the first half. Penalty against the Ducks. 21-6, the Cougars on top of the Ducks. Oregon all the way back at their own 3-yard line, just across the 3. So the Ducks way back in their own territory. Trying to get some breathing room, they give it to the tailback McCall. Or make it Tony Cherry into the ballgame. Tony Cherry into the ballgame as a tailback for McCall, and Cherry gets a few yards. Rob Cleveland on the tackle along with Jim Krukowski and Milford Hodge. They call it no gain on the play. It is 2nd down and 10. Miller. And it's incomplete. Looking for his tight end, Doug Herman, got it across the near hash mark, and it's low, and Herman just can't get to it.
Yes, he had him open also. It's a nice tight pass, but it wasn't high enough. It was a rollout. It was a rollout by Miller, and he sets up nicely, but he's just not able to get the ball up.
Chris Miller trying to get the Duck offense going here on this rainy afternoon at Autzen Stadium. Game number 4 of the Pac-10 season for the Cougars, number 5 for the Ducks. 3rd down and 9 at the Duck 4. Ball and Mack in the backfield, and Miller will throw the football to the near sideline. Goes McCall. McCall has it to 10, cuts upfield, gets away from the tackler at the 20, and now he's out of bounds at the Duck 26-yard line, and a great job by Kevin McCall. Ricky Reynolds finally on the stop for the Cougars. Clock stops with 10:51 showing here in the second period.
Yes, this is a good job of protection. It allows Miller to set up in the pocket, step up, and find McCall coming out of the backfield. McCall stops, misses the first tackle, and picks up the first down. That's a big play.
Good footwork right there, because as he tried to make that cut, he slipped a little bit and shedding the one tackler, and then got upfield for some more yards. 1st and 10 at the Duck 26. Oregon. Cougars leading 21-6. The pitch out to McCall, looking to throw the football high in the air, and it's going to be incomplete and almost intercepted by Cedric Brown. That pass was nowhere near the intended receiver of Lou Barnes. It was well overthrown, and Cedric Brown had a chance to intercept, but he couldn't come up with the football at the 30-yard line.
We saw them practice on this play yesterday. It looked like it might have been a mix-up between McCall and Lou Barnes, because Lou Barnes stopped and McCall threw it deep, so it was probably a mix-up.
Overthrew it about 10 yards over the head of Lou Barnes.
He's a left-handed thrower, so he had to turn his whole body around to throw that ball.
Now Cherry and Alex Mack out of the I formation for Oregon. We're at 2nd down and 10. Miller rolling to his right. Complete to Doug Herman, the 45, and out across the 50, down to the Cougar 45-yard line. And a nice catch by the tight end of the Ducks from Renton, Washington, Doug Herman.
This is the same play they tried to run out the end zone, but it's going the opposite way this time. He's going to his right, therefore he has a better angle. Since he's right-handed, he throws it to Doug Herman. Doug Herman picks up a nice gain.
Ron Collins on the tackle. Rich Brooks First and 10 for the Ducks at the Cougar 46-yard line. Stein fakes the 40, and he's tackled from behind. Chris Miller down to the Cougar 36-yard line. Good job by the defensive secondary by the Cougars as Miller was looking downfield for a long, long time, but never did have a chance to throw the football.
Yes, it looked as though they were running the same play they just ran to the other side. Roll out. This time Doug Herman is covered well. Chris Miller sets up. He does a good job of faking. I've seen him do this a couple of times today, and as you see, he's a good runner.
And Jeff Loomis comes up to grab him from behind to make the tackle, and now they will bring out the chains to see if Chris Miller has enough for the first down for the Ducks. 9:58 to go here in the second quarter, and as you see, it's going to be a little bit short by the length of the football.
I see Chris Miller hasn't learned the slide technique most quarterbacks use. I'm sure coach would tell him to try to practice on that this game.
In the first quarter, we have the first quarter stats as you see some of the chilly fans here at Hudson Stadium. That guy didn't even bring a jacket. All he brought was a sweater.
He looks like he's regretting that, doesn't he?
I don't have one either. What am I talking about? Rueben Mayes in the first quarter, 9 carries for 41 yards. I wanted to mention Rueben Mayes because before this ball game is over, he's going to chalk up a lot of yardage. Second down, short yardage. Reverse, and the pitch goes to Holman. He tries the long throw deep downfield. Wide open is Barnes. Touchdown, the Ducks. Scott Holman to Lou Barnes. We have the first quarter stats as you see some of the chilly fans at Hudson Stadium. That guy didn't even bring a jacket. All he brought was a sweater.
He looks like he's regretting that, doesn't he?
I don't have one either. What am I talking about? Rueben Mayes in the first quarter, 9 carries for 41 yards. I wanted to mention Rueben Mayes because before this ball game is over, he's going to chalk up a lot of yardage. Second down, short yardage. Reverse, and the pitch goes to Holman. He tries the long throw deep downfield. Wide open is Barnes. Touchdown, the Ducks. Scott Holman to Lou Barnes. Holy smoke, what a play for Oregon. They're on the board 21-12. The Cougars still lead, though.
Little razzle dazzle. We also saw them working on this play yesterday. This time there was no mix-up. It looks like it might be a reverse, so I know it stops the linebackers and stops the defensive backs. And Holman does a good job of throwing the ball, and Barnes does a very good job of knowing where he is on the field and catching it and sliding in the end zone.
Defensive back slipped and fell down, and Lou Barnes was wide open in the end zone. Outstanding pass by Holman. The pitch, it goes to McCall, to Holman, and then the long throw downfield, the touchdown pass from Holman. The split end to his wide receiver, Lou Barnes. They will go for the two-point try. Rolling to his right, Miller looking in the end zone over the middle, and it's incomplete. Incomplete to Scott Holman, who was the Duck who threw the touchdown pass. And with 9:34 to go in the second quarter, our score, it's the Cougars 21 and the Ducks 12. A 36-yard touchdown pass from Scott Holman to Lou Barnes, and it's the Cougars 21 and the Ducks 12 as the two-point conversion try again failed. Now here's the play that the Ducks scored their second touchdown on 36 yards away. Holman, pretty good throw.
Very good throw.
And wide open is Lou Barnes in the end zone, and he just curdles and hugs that football, makes the touchdown reception. The Cougar sideline looking on. Rick Chase, the deep man for Washington State. Rain falling down here in Eugene, Oregon. Watson Stadium. 9:34 to go here in the first half, and the kick is away by Dean Otto. High, deep kick, end over end, and Rick Chase lets it bounce out of the end zone. So twice the Ducks have tried for the two-point conversion, and twice they have failed. And the Cougars have a 9-point lead. Mark Rypien back in there at quarterback. And Rypien did a nice job here in the first half, leading the Cougars to their quick 21 points. 7 plays, 96 yards for the Ducks. 5 minutes and 26 seconds. Possession time for Oregon. Rypien will throw it on first down to the far sideline. He's got Marshall. John has it at the Cougar 26-yard line. Ed Holbert on the stop. John Marshall, not very fancy, but I tell you what, he gets the job done. Outstanding receiver.
Also, a lot of times that's what you want. Even though some receivers are fast and quick, if they don't get the job done, they're not ineffective. It doesn't matter. As long as you can get the job done, that's what a lot of coaches want.
Gain of 6. Second down and 4 for the Cougars. Motion is Breland. And off over the middle and out to the 30-yard line. Rueben Mayes on the carry. Dan Devaney on the tackle. Folks shelter their umbrellas, and Paul, I think that could be maybe a factor in this ballgame. It's going to make it tough for both these ball clubs the rest of the way, that light drizzle.
Yes, it is. I believe the defenses will be at the disadvantage because the offense, receivers, and running backs will know where they're going.
First and 10 for the Cougars. The pitch out low, but it's handled nicely by Mayes. Upfield at 40, 45, 50. Rueben is going to go all the way. The 20, the 10. Touchdown, Rueben Mayes for the Cougars. His second touchdown of the ball game. Holy smoke, what a run by Rueben Mayes. And he is picked off right where he left off last week against Stanford. What a run by Rueben Mayes.
Yes, it is. And it was a veer play. Counter dive, and he catches the ball. Nice catch, nice pickup first of all. Great blocking, and here you see the speed and power of this man. He just breaks the tackle, and no one looked like a replay of last week.
Unbelievable. 70-yard touchdown run by Rueben Mayes as John Trout comes on for the extra point. He broke free and had clear sailing. The kick by Trout, and it is wide. Wide to the left, and with 8:20 left to go here in the first half, our score. It's the Cougars 27 and the Ducks 12. Rueben Mayes on the Cougars sideline getting the congratulations by his teammates and his coaches, raining out the youngster with the umbrella. What a ball game for Rueben Mayes and the entire ball club, offensively and defensively. One more look at that touchdown run by Rueben Mayes going 70 yards.
So this play all started off by a beautiful catch by Mayes because the ball was thrown low. And it's good blocking by the wide receiver. He cuts through a hole. Goodbye. Another day at the office.
Doug Judge, the strong safety, was looking for Mayes to come a little wider, but he cut back inside away from Judge. Ran away from a couple of other tacklers, left him in his dust, and it was 70 yards straight downfield for Rueben Mayes. See you later, folks. And Mayes was walking inside the end zone, enjoying a drink. Only 3 plays, 80 yards, 1 minute, 14 seconds. And just like that, the Cougars now lead 27-12.
And it doesn't get the offense time to get out there and warm up. They may be a little cold out there on the sidelines.
Tremendous ball game by the Cougars. Deep men are Tony Cherry and Anthony Newman. Like both deep men for this ball club.
Oh, yeah.
Cherry and Newman can run the ball. And over end. It's going to be taken by Cherry at his 3-yard line. Upfield, 15 to 20. 25 and down to the 28-yard line. Tony Cherry. Tackle made by Ricky Reynolds.
Ricky Reynolds on the stop. Call to 28. First and 10.
8:13 to go here at halftime. And usually at halftime, especially the last few weeks, head coach Jim Walden has talked about trying to get back to the ball game. Right now, he said, well, we'll say, take what you've done in the first half, just do the same thing.
That's right. Let's not get complacent.
Go for some more. First and 10 for the Ducks at their own 27. Mack and Cherry in the backfield. Down, they have to throw the football pass in the middle, complete to his tight end, Doug Herman. And Herman is stopped at the 37-yard line. Doug Herman, Renton, Washington, came into the ballgame with 15 catches for 229 yards. He's a senior, 6'3", 225. Nice catch.
Yes, that's really a safe play for the quarterback and receiver. The tight end releases, goes about 8 yards, turns around, quarterback drops back and drills it to him.
Doug Herman, number 87, on the right side of the offensive line for the Ducks. Pickup of 9. It is 2nd down and 1. And the give is to Cherry. He's got the first down and a lot more. The 50 to 45 spins away down to the Cougar 48-yard line, and one whale of a run by Tony Cherry, finally tackled by Cedric Brown. This ball game is a long way from being over. Tony Cherry, an outstanding run, and it's 1st and 10 for Oregon at the Cougar 43.
It's a nice off-tackle play. Number 70, Steve Jensen, does a very good job. Cherry finds the hole, and it's off to the races. Good job of blocking by Lou Barnes. He's out there.
Cherry ran over the back of Barnes and trying to get away from the tackler. Miller to throw. Near sideline. Open is Barnes, and he's got it and down at the Cougar 24-yard line. Lou Barnes. That pass just got over the fingertips, I believe, of Jeff Doolin or Gerald Waters. Jim Walden on the sideline. Let's take a look at it one more time. A nice pass by Chris Miller.
Yes, Lou Barnes comes from the opposite side of the field. He just goes across, finds a hole, and it's a rollout pass, so Miller can just set up and try to find his receiver.
Another first down for the Ducks. 7 minutes to go in the second quarter. Cougars leading 27-12. Rolling to his right. Pass is off and incomplete. He wanted to hit the ball to his tight end, Doug Herman, but it's low and wide as Herman was down to the Cougar 10-yard line. 2nd down and 10.
This may be the game plan of the Ducks to have rollout pass to avoid that rush to get Miller on the outside so you have more sight to see his receivers.
2nd down and 10. The officials will try to keep the football dry with a towel, then they spot the football. It's at the Cougar 23-yard line. 2nd and 1. He's all the way down to the Cougar 10-yard line. Alex Mack, the big fullback, 6'1", 201, a junior, and he bangs his way for a Duck first down at the Cougar 10.
Good, strong running. It's a quick trap. And he looked like he almost fumbled on that play, but he was able to regain it. He didn't get hit at the line of scrimmage. He picks up some good yards.
Gerald Waters made the tackle from Washington State. Just across the Cougar 10-yard line, 1st and 10 for the Ducks. The motion is Barnes. Back again. He is stopped at the line of scrimmage and all down by Milford Hodge right there to greet big Alex Mack. And you talk about big Milford Hodge, 6'3", 240. He's a senior.
Plays off the block well, and it's the kind of tackle that when you're going through drills before the game, farm tackling, that's exactly what that was.
Grabbed him around the numbers and just held down and drilled him back. But he does pick up a yard. It is 2nd down and 9 for the Ducks. Call the offense the quack attack. Eugene. Pass into the end zone. Barnes and touchdown Oregon. He got 1 foot down. Lou Barnes. The 9-yard touchdown catch, and the Ducks are on the board. What a catch by Barnes, and what a touch by the quarterback, Chris Miller.
This is a quick fade route to try to take advantage. What happens is the defensive back turns his back and he doesn't see the ball. Barnes does a very good job of adjusting to the ball. And in college, all you have to do is have 1 foot in, and he got it in.
Outstanding catch by Lou Barnes. And they again will try for the 2-point conversion. They have failed twice already. It is 27-18. The Ducks are back in the ball game. An offensive show here in the first half. 5:47 to go in the second quarter. The Ducks will try it one more time, the 2-point conversion. Miller looking into the end zone. Passes off, and it's good. It's going to be complete to Kevin McCall coming out of the backfield. And they have the 2-point conversion. And with 5:47 to go here in the second quarter, our score. It's the Cougars 27 and the Ducks 20.
This is some game the first half.
Wow.
Seems like the offenses are doing what they want to do. Neither one of the defenses are able to stop either offense. Like I said, that scoreboard is getting a good workout today.
It certainly is. Fasten your seatbelts. We have a long way to go in this ball game. 27-20. The Cougars lead with 5:47 to go before the halftime activities here at Autzen Stadium. Handshakes for Kevin McCall, and for McCall, that's his 4th touchdown of the year.
I guess for the fans on a cold day, you want to see a lot of scoring. It allows you to get up and move around.
You know what, those folks are just kind of sitting there enjoying it, I guess. They look like Duck fans, but it's kind of tough to jump around. Kevin McCall, the touchdown, or the 2-point conversion catch. Rick Chase, the deep man for Washington State. The kick by Otto. Chase into the end zone and will stay there. 1st and 10 for the Cougars at their own 20-yard line. So still plenty of time before halftime here at Autzen Stadium. Mark Rypien has the instructions from head coach Jim Walden.
The Oregon fans are trying to urge their defense on to stop this so we can get the ball back, so the Oregon University can get the ball back again.
An exciting ball game.
Exactly.
Motion is Michael James. Over the line of scrimmage is Jamie Olson, the starting tight end this afternoon for the Cougars. Vince Slayton injured, and Jamie Olson making his first start of the year. So the penalty will go against the Cougars. Vince Slayton with an Achilles sprain. And that game last week against the Stanford Cardinal was doubtful for today, and Jamie Olson is the starting tight end. 5-yard penalty. It's back to the Cougar 15, or it's 1st and 15. Motion to the near side, Rueben Mayes. Rypien. Overthrown, incomplete. Intended for Jamie Olson. He's 6'2", 232, a senior, so it's 2nd and 15 for the Cougars.
And he was open on that play also. It's just a bad pass by Rypien. I'm sure he wish he could have that one back, bring it down a little bit.
Olson was open at the Cougar 30-yard line, where they need to get a first down. 2nd and 15, wide to the right. Is Breland into the ball game. Motion James. Second and long. Rueben Mayes, and Mayes gets back to the original line of scrimmage, the 20-yard line, stopped there by Ron Johnson, who just checked into the ball game defensively for the Ducks. Now 3rd down and 10 for the Cougars. And if they don't pick up the first down right here, the Ducks will have some pretty good field position. 27-20 here in the second quarter. You see the time, just over 5 minutes left to go before halftime. So kind of a big play right here already for the Cougars. Trying to keep their hands on the football. Motion to the far side is Mayes out of the backfield. Rypien in trouble, big rush, but passes off, and it's complete to Marshall. He's got the first down to the Cougar 45-yard line. Big rush, and Rypien, a good pass over the middle. He finds John Marshall.
Yes, they called him.
Wow.
They called him in a man-to-man defense. Rypien looks like he throws that ball off his heels, and it's a very good throw, accurate throw. Nice catch. Yes, it was a man-to-man. He beats his man. And they make a crucial play and get out of a bad situation.
Big play and the connection from Mark Rypien to John Marshall. 1st and 10 for the Cougars at their own 45-yard line. Rueben Mayes up the middle, and Mayes gets out close to the Cougar 48-yard line, tackled by Bob Hewitts, the middle linebacker, and the defensive left tackle, David Culp.
2nd and 8 for Cougar 47.
Tell you one thing, with just over 4 minutes to go right now, Paul Johns, a big score would be right here before halftime to get about a 14-point lead over the Ducks.
Exactly, especially the way the Ducks are moving the ball. You have to keep the score, at least try to keep 2 touchdown lead, because it seems like they always knock 1 touchdown off.
Jim Walden, game plan very effective right away. They jumped out to a quick 14-0 lead in the ball game. It is 2nd down and 8 after the 2-yard carry by Mayes. Rypien, the pitch out. Rueben to the near side, the 50, the 40, and he is taken out of bounds at the Duck 34-yard line. And another first down for Washington State, and the clock stops with 3:48 remaining in the second period.
Rueben Mayes did a very good job of just slowing down his speed. Let's stutter step there because they have 3 men out there to make the tackle. He does a little stutter step, able to get to the outside, and he's doing a very good job once he gets his hands on the ball.
Opening the way, I didn't see it, but a block on Doug Judge that allowed Mayes to turn the corner. First down and 10 at the 33-yard line. 3:32 to go in the second quarter. Latowski into the ball game, and he is stacked up at the line of scrimmage. Grabbed by Dale Dorning, defensive left end. Latowski will get a yard in a second down and 9. All the Cougar offense doing a pretty good job keeping their eyes on their strong safety of Oregon, Doug Judge.
Yes, they are. If he wanted to keep players, they had to stop in order to be effective with their veer. And they seem to be doing a pretty good job so far this first half.
Second down and 9. Latowski starts in motion to the near side. Rypien to throw. Has plenty of time. The pass is off downfield, intended for Latowski. Intercepted at the Duck 5-yard line. The interception, Wendell Kaysen, the left cornerback, and the Ducks have the football with 2:41 to go in the half.
That was not a good pass by Rypien. His primary receiver wasn't open. John Marshall wasn't open. He tried to go down the sideline. But the defensive back has very good coverage. And Latowski tried to play a defensive back at that time, but it's kind of hard to play a defensive back when the ball's thrown on the inside of you.
No interceptions last week. That's his 13th interception on the year, Mark Rypien. First and 10 for the Ducks. At their own, they spot the football near the 6-yard line. And off goes the Mack. Flag is thrown. Alex Mack still on his feet. Avoids a couple of tacklers. Has some room on the right side. The 20, 25, 30. And finally taken out of bounds. All the way down to the Duck 35-yard line. What a run by Alex Mack, the fullback. Flag is thrown. Nice run by Mack.
Let me tell you, that man shows some moves on this play, right? After he breaks the first tackle, you see him throw a move right here. He throws another move right there. Oh, yes, great move. Even though the play is called back, you can see the running ability of Alex Mack.
That nullifies a tremendous run by Alex Mack, a big break for Washington State. Penalty, illegal procedure against the Ducks will bring Oregon back to their 3-yard line. Kaysen on that interception, his first interception of the year, that has given the Ducks back the football. 2:32 left to go in the second quarter, and the Cougars leading Oregon 27-20. It has been some kind of first half here in the rain at Autzen Stadium. All the way back to their own 3-yard line. Bland and Cherry into the offensive backfield. Right now they're located in the end zone, but Miller will throw it. Keeps the football, and he's almost tackled in the end zone. He gets out back to the Duck 2-yard line.
As you can see, the Ducks have a lot of confidence in their pass and attack and their pass protection because they're throwing out of the end zone. Miller doesn't find anyone and barely gets back out of the end zone to avoid a safety.
Good pursuit by Brent White and Milford Hodge to make the stop on Chris Miller. Exactly 2 minutes to go in the second quarter. Cougars leading by 7, 27-20. It is second down and 14. Ducks with their backs to the wall. The Cougars want to keep them right there. The handoff. And stopped right away by Jim Kurkowski and then all back into the end zone. It was not back, but into the ball game now. Offensively for the Ducks, Todd Bland, 6'2", 225, a junior, had no room at all as Jim Kurkowski is right there to make the tackle.
And the tackle he did make, I mean, it was a solid tackle. Once he made contact, there was no forward motion at all.
Good solid hit by Kurkowski. Alex Mack is now back in the ball game. The crowd here at Autzen Stadium bundled up under the elements. You see the score. The Cougars leading by 7. with 1:39 on the clock. Oregon band getting ready for the halftime activities. Timeout on the field. The Ducks with the football at their own 2-yard line. Alex Mack back in the ball game for Todd Bland, who carried on that last play for the Ducks. 1:39 left to go here in the half. Rick Rears along with Paul Johns here at Autzen Stadium. Next week, Cougars will be back home in Pullman to take on the Beavers of Oregon State. Oregon State playing Stanford this afternoon. Third down play coming up for Oregon. 3rd and 14 for the Ducks. Wide to the right side is Lou Barnes. The end zone camera, that's how much room the quarterback, Chris Miller, has to work with. Deep in the end zone, dropping back to throw. The outlet pass, McCall has it, and he's at the 10, still on his feet, and pulled out of bounds, close to a first down. At the Duck 14-yard line, and a great job by Kevin McCall.
Yes, he does. It's a safe pass. McCall comes out of the backfield. He looks downfield. The primary receiver is the back. He throws to McCall. McCall's trying to get the first down, and he almost gets it. He pulls two people and gets out of bounds, stops the clock.
Has to grab McCall by the sleeve and drag him out of bounds. Got away from the tackle of Jeff Dulum, and now the punt attempt by Preacher. They did not get the first down. Preacher back at his 2-yard line. Ed Blunt, the deep man for the Cougars. Kick is off. It's going to be on the short side. Bounces at midfield. A high bounce taken by Blunt, and he stopped right away at the Cougar 42-yard line, and the Cougars have it back with 1:21 to go in the half. The time on the new scoreboard here at Autzen Stadium, and the Cougars lead 27-20. So just a little over a minute to go here in the first half of play. Ball on the Cougar 41-yard line. Mark Rypien having a good day guiding the offense here for Washington State. And the steady light rain here in Eugene, Oregon. Marshall in behind. Rypien in motion. Mayes up the middle, moving to 50. And he's down to Duck territory at the Oregon 43-yard line. And Rueben Mayes with that quick burst of speed right up the middle gets a first down for the Cougars.
It's a draw play. They have one back, 3 wide receiver, 1 back offense. Who they give it to? Mayes. A draw play, and the man picks up some yards and gets on the left side of territory.
Mason finally on the tackle. First and 10. The coach down at the 43. Rypien deep downfield near sideline, and it's overthrown, intended for Michael James. Clock stops on the incompleted pass. 1:07 to go. Mason and Wilkin defending on the play for the Ducks.
It's good coverage by secondary. Then Rypien did the thing that you tell quarterbacks to do if no one's open. Throw it out of bounds. Don't risk an interception.
Second down and 10. Rueben Mayes, the lone setback. 1:07 to go in the half. 27-20. The Cougars on top of the Ducks. Pass is off, and it's incomplete, intended for Marshall to the far sideline at the Duck 37-yard line. Play took only 4 seconds off the clock. Now 1:03 remain.
Put down the umbrella.
Mascot hoping that Washington State can get on the board one more time before the half expires. A little over a minute to go. Cougars a great job offensively today here in the rain against the Oregon Ducks. Third down and 10. And Rypien will put up the football. No, he won't. Rueben Mayes up the middle. The 30, 25, and all the way down to the Duck 22-yard line. Like I said, he'll hand off to Rueben Mayes.
You call that one right on the nose.
Yeah, right.
This is great blocking by the front line. They are just opening up holes in the line.
Wow.
Mayes to run. And what does he do better than anything? He runs. Good job of running.
First down for the Cougars. All the way down to the Duck 22-yard line. I guess that's why I'm up here. Again, Rueben Mayes over the middle. Still on his feet and now down at the Duck 11-yard line. So the offense has been right here to give the ball to Rueben Mayes, and he's done the job and come through.
2 draw plays in a row, and they picked up a substantial number of yards.
44 seconds on the clock. That man has been tremendous. Over 200 yards last week. He had 200 yards rushing, 201, and a 16-14 win against Ball State. Jim Walden on the sideline to set up a play with Rick Chase, who checks into the ball game, and now he comes back to the near sideline as the chains go out to see whether or not Rueben Mayes picked up the first down. Whoa. Looks like he got it. No. He didn't. A little bit short.
First down at the Oregon 12.
They used a piece of paper to measure that one. That's how short it was. Probably about as thick as a piece of paper.
Second down. I'm going to measure it one more time. Sometimes they'll check the spot. Look how close that is. Referee Gordon Reese has his foot down to mark the exact spot, and now here we go. 24 seconds on the clock, second down, and about an inch. Rypien will throw in the end zone, passes up and incomplete, overthrown over the top of John Marshall. The far side of the end zone, defending is Doug Judge, the strong safety. 3rd and 1.
Burris came open across the middle. After he slipped, come out the line of scrimmage. It was like a crisscross play. John Marshall, the inside receiver, he runs to the outside. Burris is the outside receiver. He comes under the inside. He came open, but it was a little too late.
3rd down and an inch for the Cougars at the 12-yard line. One thing for sure, they are definitely within the range of John Trout, their field goal kicker, an extra point specialist. Motion is Chase to the near side, and Rypien will keep the football himself. He's got the first down as Rypien gets across the 10-yard line and down to the Duck 9. Dill Dorning and Doug Judge on the stop defensively for Oregon. And the Cougars will have it first and goal. And timeout is called by Washington State with 33 seconds on the clock here in the second quarter. So the Cougars knocking on the door, a chance to put up some points. Question is it going to be 7 or is it going to be 3? And the Cougars would like to get it in one more time. There's the score, 27-20. The Cougars lead. Had an outstanding start. Now the sideline of the Oregon Ducks. Hewlett's the middle linebacker talking with Rich Brooks. Cougars getting on the board quickly. A 1-yard touchdown run and an 80-yard touchdown drive by the Cougars on their first possession of the ball game to make it 7-0. Then a punt attempt by Harper, but it was snapped back to Rick Chase, and he went 78 yards for a touchdown to make it 14-0 Cougars. Then it was 14-6 on a 3-yard run by Kevin McCall of Oregon, and 21-6 after a 3-yard touchdown run by Mayes at the end of the first quarter, and that's our score as we get ready for halftime, 27-20, but 33 seconds left on the clock. First and goal for the Cougars, just across the Duck 10-yard line. Here we go. Rypien. Pass in the end zone, incomplete, and a little mix-up on the play. The pass was intended for Michael James, but it was nowhere near either James or Sam Burris in the end zone.
They had everybody on the left side. They rolled to the left side, and no one was open. He did a good job of just getting rid of the ball because there was a pretty good rush on him also.
28 seconds. Second down and goal. Their side is Chase. Wide to the left is Sam Burris. In the slot left is John Marshall. Lone set back to Rueben Mayes. Pass in the end zone intended for Burris, but well beyond his reach, it falls incomplete. Now 22 seconds on the clock remain. Roland Poutsier putting a rush on Rypien. And the play coming in from the near sideline. Now what do you look for right here, Paul? 22 seconds to go. Third down and third and goal at the 10.
I look for them to try another pass into the end zone, but I feel he's been instructed. If no one's open, don't risk an interception. Throw it up into the stands if you have to.
Last time I looked for the pass, they went to Rueben Mayes. Let's see what they do right here. They'll throw the football. Passes up. Burris has a shot, and it's incomplete. Little overthrown into the end zone. And it's going to be 4th and 10. Here is John Trout to try for the field goal attempt. Sam Burris, the intended receiver.
He was wide open
Yes,
that play. He beat the man at the line of scrimmage. As soon as the ball was snapped, the defensive back was beaten. All Rypien had to do was just lay it up, soft throw.
Ball will be spotted at the 16-yard line. A try of 26 yards for John Trout. He's been very accurate. Snap and center, the kick by Trout, and it is good. No doubt about it. And John Trout adds the field goal, and with 15 seconds left to go in the half, our score now, it's Washington State 30 and Oregon 20, and a big 3 points right there, getting ready to go into the locker room at halftime.
I guess you rather if we're down that far, you want to get something out of it. I know they would have rather had 6 points, but if you can't get 6, get 3.
There's the score. The Cougars lead the Ducks by 10, 30 to 20, 50 points scoring-wise here in the first half. We were looking for more of a defensive ball game, but both ball clubs going right at each other. It was 21 to 6. There's a look at the scoreboard. Only 15 seconds on the clock. Cheerleaders on the sideline as Trout gets ready to kick it away. 21 to 6 after the first period. The Cougars led. Now they have a 10-point lead. Tony Cherry and Anthony Newman, the deep man for Oregon. The kick is away. Low kick, bobbled and then recovered at the 25, the 30, and out to the 32-yard line. John Trout coming over to the Cougar sideline. Cougar cheerleaders with a lot to cheer about here in the first half. 10 seconds on the clock here in the second quarter.
Go Cougars!
From the 32. Right now, you just want to let that big play burn you.
Looks like they're getting ready for a punt return.
Miller in a lot of trouble, gets away from Eric Howard. Rolling to his right. Now the pass is off and it's incomplete. Trying to get the ball out to midfield where Lou Barnes goes sliding after it, and time runs out here in the first half. And what a first half it was, but wait a second. As everybody heads for the runway, they just put on the brakes right there, but now they say it's all over in the first half, and how about it? Our score at halftime here at Eugene, Oregon. Our score, the Cougars 30 and the Ducks 20. We'll be back with our halftime activities right after these messages. All right, here we go, Paul. It is halftime here at Autzen Stadium. Hello again, everybody. Rick Riz along with Paul Johns. A shootout in the first half. The Cougars lead by a score of 30 to 20 over the Ducks of Oregon, and quite a first half, especially that first quarter. The Cougars went right out and went right to the Oregon Duck defense.
Yes, they did. They've done something the first half that they haven't been able to do the whole year. They scored points. They scored points by giving the ball to Rueben Mayes and letting him do his job. He has 20 carries for 197 yards. They've offset that by throwing to the receivers and throwing the quick pass to Rick Chase and letting him do some. He's done a lot of damage with that.
Good job of mixing things up. You have to give credit to the Oregon offensive well. They came back and made it a 27 to 20 ball game on a touchdown pass to Lou Barnes, but then the field goal by John Trout, and that's a big field goal to make it a 10-point margin.
Yes, that was a big field goal because the way Oregon's been coming back and answering these touchdowns, they need to stay at least one touchdown or 10 points ahead because neither defense has been able to stop the offenses.
We'll be back with a look at the first half statistics right after these messages. The Cougars lead the Ducks by a score of 30-20 here at halftime. We're getting ready for the second half of play. Hello again, everybody. Rick Riz and Paul Johns. And the first half statistics, Washington State 15 first downs, Oregon 7. Move the football very well.
Yes, they are. The first quarter, Washington State had 7 first downs. Oregon didn't have any. But so the game is evened out a little bit more the second half, but Washington State still up by 10 points.
Rushing the football, the Cougars 302 yards on the ground, 197 of those by Rueben Mayes and 2 touchdowns. So quite a first half by Rueben Mayes. We look for even more from Rueben as we get ready for the second half.
Yes, he's picked up where he left off last week. Seemed like another day at the office.
We'll be back with the second half kickoff right after these messages.
Third quarter, USC 31, California 7.
Getting ready for the third quarter of play. The Cougars lead the Ducks by a score of 30-20. Washington State to kick it away. Anthony Newman and Tony Cherry are the deep men back for Oregon. And it's going to be Cherry at his own 6-yard line. We're underway in the second half. The 20. Upfield out to the 25, then to the 26-yard line, and the Ducks with the football. The Cougars 30 and the Ducks 20. Quite a first half of play. Ricky Reynolds downfield to make the tackle on Cherry on the return for Oregon.
Final score, USC 31, California.
In the first half, Rueben Mayes 20 carries for 197 yards and 2 touchdowns. He had a 70-yard touchdown run. First and 10 for the Ducks at their own 26. Out of the I formation, Mack and McCall in the backfield. The pitch out goes to McCall. Brings the right side to 30. Leaps over one tackler all the way down to the Ducks 39-yard line. He's got himself a first down. Lee Blakeney on the tackle.
He looks like he may be hurt.
Kevin McCall injured on the play, and that would be a big loss looking at the right knee of Kevin McCall. That would be a big setback to the Ducks if McCall cannot come back in this ball game because he's their leading rusher, one of the main attacks on the Duck offense, so hopefully he'll be okay. Looking at that last play, we get a chance to see where McCall took the hit.
It's a nice sweep, and he puts himself in a vulnerable position. When you go up in the air, sometimes you come down where you don't want to come down. And in that pile, looks like his knee might have just gotten twisted up, or hip maybe got a frog in his knee.
And he is hurt. Heading over to the far sideline, Kevin McCall taken out of the ball game. And gets a nice round of applause from the fans here at Autzen Stadium. So, bad break right there for Oregon. Tony Cherry replaces Kevin McCall in the offensive backfield. It's first and 10 for the Ducks at their 39-yard line. And right away it goes to Cherry. The 45 and across midfield, and he's got a Duck first down to the Cougar 48 before he's tackled by Gerald Waters. So nice run by Tony Cherry.
In the last 2 plays, they've had a lot of success running to their right side. The offensive line is doing a very good job of taking care of Washington State's left side, picking up some valuable yards there.
Mike McCarty now checks into the ballgame offensively for the Ducks. He sets up wide to the right. It's another first down for the Ducks at the Cougar 48-yard line. Out of the I formation and motion to the near side is Lou Barnes. 30-20, the Cougars lead by 10. Quick pass to Barnes. And he slips down at the Cougar 47-yard line, trying to make a cut upfield, but that turf is still on the slick side. It is no longer raining. We had a steady drizzle throughout the entire first half of play, but looking out right now, it appears that the rain has stopped, but the turf is still very tricky to run on. Second down and 9, a gain of only a yard. Throws of the football at the Cougar 47-yard line. 13:37 to go in the third quarter. Miller rolling to his right. And it's intercepted and lost by Ron Collins. Oh, Collins almost had his 4th interception on the year, but he bobbled the football and could not hang on down at the Cougar 33-yard line.
I don't know if Miller did not see Collins or what, but it's a rollout, and he's looking for Barnes all the way. Barnes goes close to the sideline and stops because he can't go any further. And Miller throws it right into Barnes' hands, but he can't hold on to it.
Todd Black and Tony Cherry now to the offensive backfield as you took a look at Ron Collins. Nose of the football very close to the Cougar 47. Lou Barnes wide to the right. Third down and 9. Miller will put it up. Almost intercepted by Erwin Chappelle down at the Cougar 32-yard line. Underthrown, it was intended for Scott Holman, the split end. Never got there.
Erwin Chappelle read that play just right. That's 2 interceptions in 2 plays that they had a chance for and missed.
Now it's 4th down and 9.
They did stop the drive, and that's the main thing. But when you have an interception, you have a chance for it. You have to come up with those type of plays.
And Mike Preacher will punt it away on 4th down. Returning punts this afternoon for the Cougars. Stands back at his 11-yard line. Preacher at his 40-yard line. Puts the kick away. High kick. Catch being called for by Blunt, and he is hit. The flag is thrown. The ball is set free, but Blunt this time was calling for the fair catch. I'm going to have to take a look. I think it was Scott Skipper, an outside linebacker downfield, who got a piece of Blunt as he was calling for the fair catch and ran into Blunt.
He was trying to avoid him. He was just trying to run by. It looked like he was trying to run by him to scare him. Then he tried to avoid him, but he just got a piece of him. And you have to know where the ball is at all times.
Right away, the flag is thrown. Decided the infraction. Interference on the fair catch against the Ducks at the Cougar 13-yard line.
32-yard kick for Mike Preacher.
Rich Brooks, a season with the Ducks. And has been around both the collegiate and the professional ranks. First and 10 for the Cougars at their 18-yard line. Rueben Mayes in the first half had 197 yards on the ground. He is over the 1,000 mark for the season. He now has 1,058 yards rushing the football. He is number 1 in the Pac-10. Mark Rypien had set up the offense, but they will try it one more time. Clock had stopped. 13:08 on the clock here in the third quarter. Cougars leading 30-20. So what a day already for Rueben Mayes. 2 touchdowns and 197 yards. He had a 70-yard touchdown run. That goes to Mayes. Flag is thrown. Rueben got a yard, maybe 2.
Rueben almost lost that ball. He's up in the pile. The ball almost got away from him.
Roland Poutsier on the tackle. And the penalty will go against the Cougars.
David Culp almost stripped that ball away from Rueben. He grabbed that left arm and caused the ball to pop up in the air. Rueben was able to catch it. Would have been a big play for Oregon.
So the yardage has stepped off against the Cougars, who would like to come out with the same attack that they had right at the outset of the ball game, where they chalked up 14 quick points against the Duck defense to take that early 14-0 lead. Rick Chase into the ball game offensively for the Cougars, now with the football all the way back to their 9-yard line. They need to get out to their 28 for a first down. Rypien to throw. Open over the middle is Marshall. Now the pass complete to Marshall, and he fumbles the football. It's going to be recovered by the Ducks. Marshall had it, then lost the football, and Oregon will have it. First and 10 at the Cougar 29-yard line. Marshall was wide over the middle. Rypien got him the ball, but he couldn't hang on.
You have to give the offensive line credit. They gave Rypien plenty of time to set back and pick out not only his primary receiver, but secondary and triad receiver. He finds Marshall, gets it. He loses it when the guy comes from behind him and strips him. Dan Wilkins comes behind and strips him.
And Ed Hulbert jumped down the loose football for the Ducks, who have it at the Cougar 29-yard line. So big break for Oregon. Now with the football, 12:41 to go in the third quarter. Mack and Cherry in the backfield. On first down, it goes to Cherry. The tailback, it's 2 yards. After the Cougar, maybe the 27. Eric Howard on the stop for the Cougars. Cougar bench, you can see the background, Mark Rypien on the headphones upstairs to the press box to get a better idea what the Ducks defense was doing, especially on that last play. They was able to get the pass off and completed pass off to John Marshall.
Would have been a first down.
Gain of 1. It is second down and 9 for the Ducks. Drew Barnes into the ball game, wide to the near side. Up the middle, Alex Mack, the big fullback, and he's out to the Cougar 23. Lee Blakeney on the stop for Washington State. Gain of 6. They're down and 3. Cherry. To the eye and motion to the near side is Barnes. The pitch out goes to Cherry. Turning the left side, and he's got the first down. He's all the way out to the Cougar 14-yard line. What's the first down for the Ducks? Owen Chappelle on the tackle for Washington State. It's the first down for Oregon.
From the high formations, the pitch out, sweep, and all these backs we've seen today do a good job of when they see the hold, squaring their shoulders up and going upfield, picking up the yard instead of running parallel to the line of scrimmage.
And it didn't quite pick it up with the big block on Lee Blakeney, and that gave Cherry the room to get the first down. First and 10 at the Cougar 14, 11:02 to go in the third quarter. Cougars lead 30-20 over the Ducks. Alex Mack, no running room at all, and a good job defensively by the Cougars. Brad Harrington lost his helmet, made the tackle, and Rico Tipton was also there to help out. Good job to stop Alex Mack. Ball is back at the Cougar 15-yard line. Second down. Rich Brooks, head coach of the Ducks, irons folded. Talking with his coaches up in the press box. Second down and 11 at the Cougar 15. Moving along the defensive front line. And off, but not a whole bunch of yards. Gerald Waters on the tackle, but not a lot of running room for the fullback again. Alex Mack on the carry. Picks up maybe 3.
Cougars almost had a mix-up in their defensive line coverage. They kept moving around. They were still moving when the ball was snapped. Luckily for them, the play was coming into the area they were moving.
Cougars lead by 10 from the end zone camera through the uprights. It is third down and 8. Miller in the pocket, passes off over the middle, incomplete. As Cherry had a chance to make that catch, but he couldn't hang on. It hit him right on the numbers. Lee Blakeney defending on the play, but Cherry was open over the middle.
This is the delay route. You allow your receivers to go down the field and clear out everyone. You have your running back just delay and cut under the linebackers. Hopefully you hit him and catch the ball and make some room and run for some yards. This time it didn't happen.
Miller drilled it right in there, but Cherry just couldn't make the catch. 9:40 to go in the third quarter. It is now fourth down and 8. And Matt McLeod will come on to try for the field goal. A 30-yard try. The kick by McLeod is up and over in, and it is good. And from 30 yards out, the field goal by Matt McLeod. And with 9:37 to go in the third period, our score. It's the Cougars 30 and the Ducks 23. We'll be back right after these messages. a 30-yard field goal by Matt McLeod of Oregon, and the Ducks on the board first here in the third quarter. It's now the Cougars 30 and Oregon 23. Deep man for Washington State is Rick Trace. As you see, Dean Otto, the kicker for the Ducks, getting ready to kick it away. Dean Otto from South Africa. And there's a look at Rick Chase, averaging 21 yards a kick return this year. And he had a couple of big catches in the first half of play when the Cougars led 30-20, but right now it's 30-23, a 7-point lead for Washington State. Dean Otto is just about ready. And the kick. Chase moving to the near side, takes it at his 1-yard line. Straight upfield, the 10, the 15. 20 out to the 23-yard line. Edmund Rivera downfield to make the tackle for the Ducks. And the Cougars have it first and 10.
If I'm right, that's the first kickoff return they have been able to return. Otto's been kicking the ball out of the end zone. That's the first one Chase had a chance to run back.
And he's right at his average. He got it at the 1. Return of 22 yards out to the Cougar 23. On to the right is Marshall. Calvin and Mayes in the backfield. In motion is Michael James. Rypien, the pitch out to Mayes. 30, the 35, and down to the Cougar 36-yard line. And Rueben Mayes picks up the first down for the Cougars before he's stopped by Dan Wilkin of the Ducks.
The way this man's been running today,
wow.
It's a veer route. It's the veer option. And the way he's been running today, it has put fear in the Oregon coaches and the players' mind every time he touches the ball. He squarely shows up and runs with so much power that it's hard to stop him when he gets his hands on the ball.
And you know that the Ducks are looking for Mayes to take that pitch, and it boils down to execution, getting the blocks and getting the room, and Mayes a great job to run the football. This time out to the 44-yard line goes Richard Calvin, Wilkin, and Doug Judge on the tackle, along with Don Pelham. Richard Calvin brings the Cougars out to their own 44-yard line.
With the success that Mayes is having, you give it to your fullback and let him run a little bit to keep everyone honest, and it makes the fullback's job a little easier because everyone's looking for Mayes. He can pick up some yardage.
And Calvin is close to the first down. Rob Marshall into the ball game defensively. Culp is out of there. Second down and about a half a yard. Calvin has the first down. Richard Calvin, just his head down, plows over the right side of the line behind Kirk Samuelson and Mike Dreyer. Well, he spot the football back at the 48-yard line. That's where they needed to go for the first down. It looked like Calvin got a lot more than that. Young fan here at Watson Stadium this afternoon. Michael James into the ball game, wide to the near side. They got the first down. First and 10 for the Cougars. Rypien in trouble, and he is sacked. Back at his 40-yard line, Todd Welch is in there. The linebacker to get a hold of Mark Rypien. Lost back to the Cougar 40-yard line, a loss of 8 yards on the play.
Yes, he just beats Jamie White on this play. The linebacker comes from the outside and dogs. He beats Jamie White to tackle. He's in there before Rypien can set up and find the receiver.
First time in the ball game that Mark Rypien has been sacked by the Duck defense. And it's now second down and 18. Hayes over the middle, and Rueben across the 45 and doesn't quite get back to the original line of scrimmage. A pickup of about 7. Todd Welch and Bob Huditz there on the stop for the Ducks. Rueben Mayes with over 200 yards on the day. That's the third time this year that Rueben has gained over 200 yards in a single ball game.
I guess you could call him a duck buster today, huh? Who do you call him?
Duck buster.
That's it.
Rueben Mayes is the main duck buster. Over 200 yards today. 197 in the first half. It is second down and 7, a gain of 3 by Mayes. Ball to the Cougar 47. Rypien to put it up. Open in the flats, but he can't get it to Richard Calvin coming out of the backfield. Calvin was wide open across the 50. Deep downfield was Michael James.
Michael James is wide open down there. They may come back with that play next time. I saw the Cougar coaches pointing to James after the play was over with. So they may come back with that, maybe the next series or the series after.
Glenn Harper back to punt. Michael James is all the way down to the Duck 20-yard line.
Catching the cold.
High kick. The catch being called for by Lou Barnes, and it's 1st and 10 for the Ducks at their own 20-yard line. So just kind of put that one in the back of your mind on that last play where Michael James was open deep downfield. But Rypien had a chance to get the first down, but he just couldn't get the ball to Richard Calvin. Fans wearing the parkas and the down jackets, the caps and the umbrellas. Right now the umbrella's not out. It's not raining. Was quite a bit in the first half. 30-23. The Cougars lead the Ducks with 6:40 to go here in the third period. Rick Riz along with Paul Johns. Glad you could join us for the play-by-play this afternoon. The handoff, I believe it is Mack, Alex Mack. And he's out. A flag is thrown. Take it, Tony Cherry on the carry. Cherry out to the 25-yard line. Eric Howard on the tackle, but a flag is thrown.
Tempers flaring, and I believe the referees called for the last push against Washington State.
So the Cougars charge for the personal foul. And that'll bring the Ducks downfield to their own 40-yard line.
I don't know why it is, but referees always see the second push. Just about all the time.
Cougars had only one penalty for only 5 yards in the first half. The Ducks had 3 for 15 yards. That was a big one chalked up against the Cougars here in the second half. 6:23 to go in the period. Third quarter. First down for the Ducks out of the I formation. Tony Cherry. With Waters on his back, he gets across midfield all the way down to the Cougar 47-yard line. Gerald Waters on the tackle, but Cherry carried him about 7 yards.
Yes, he did. He went for a piggyback route on that. That shows the power Cherry has in his legs.
Yeah. Nice run by Tony Cherry. Came into the ballgame with 302 yards rushing for the years.
One heck of an average, 6.6 yards per carry.
Very good average. 1st and 10 for the Ducks. The pitch out goes to Cherry, a little behind him, but he handles it. And he is hit hard at the Cougar 45 and driven out of bounds by Lee Blakeney. Blakeney getting close to 500 career tackles. He'll get that easily. He came into the ball again with 470 career tackles. So you look at Tony Cherry going back to the Duck huddle. University of Oregon has produced some outstanding NFL players. Bobby Moore. Now Ahmad Rashad. How about Dan Fouts? The Chargers. Played right here in the early 70s.
Rush
Cherry, left side to 40, 35, and he's down at the Cougar 33-yard line. Another first down for the Ducks. Tony Cherry, tackled by Rico Tipton.
He broke 2 tackles on that play.
Tony Cherry career tackles. So you look at Tony Cherry and back to the University of Oregon spinning NFL players. Bobby Moore. Ahmad Rashad. How about Dan Fouts? The Chargers. Played right here in the early 70s. Rush Cherry, left side to 40, 35, and he's down at the Cougar 33-yard line. Another first down for the Ducks. Tony Cherry, tackled by Rico Tipton.
He broke 2 tackles on that play.
Tony Cherry did a good job, Paul, in replacement of the injured Kevin McCall.
The play was initially supposed to go to the inside, but because there was no room, he popped it to the outside and picked up good yardage.
So Cherry filling in very nicely for the injured McCall. 1st and 10 for the Ducks at the Cougar 33. Cherry again, and he gets to the Cougar 30. Oh, he's tackled by Rod Cleveland.
I guess their philosophy is why change a good thing? Go with Cherry until you stop him, then we'll go to someone else.
Just down the other side of the 30-yard line as you take a look at the Oregon cheerleaders. Quarterback Chris Miller inside the Duck huddle. And right now, the Ducks trail by only 7 points. Our score, 30-23, Washington State. Lou Barnes wide to the right side. Second down and 6. Fullback, and he is tackled by Blakeney. And Jeff Loomis right there to meet Alex Mack. Nice stop by Lee Blakeney, the all-time leading tackler in Cougar history. Watch this smack right here.
Very good job. They try to go to Washington State's playbook, run the draw play, but Blakeney's there and smells it out and stops it for little or no gain.
They're down and 3 for the Ducks. Miller over the middle. He's got Cherry, then he fumbles the football, and it's going to be ruled incomplete. Ruled that Cherry just didn't have possession. Lee Blakeney is there defending on the play along with Jim Kwiatkowski.
They try to run a little back out of the backfield, delay route again, but Blakeney smells it out, and he's on top of the play. Very good play by Blakeney.
Thought for a second from our angle that Cherry may have held on, but or long enough for the possession, but never really did have possession. Lost it. 4th down and 3. The field goal try by McLeod, and the kick is up, and it is good. From 44 yards out, Mac McLeod, a field goal, and with 4:02 left to go in the third quarter, it's now the Cougars 30 and the Ducks 26, and this is one interesting ball game, Paul.
Yes, there's constantly chipping away at that lead. It's now 4 points.
Flag is thrown at the Cougar 32-yard line, and the penalty will go against Washington State, and the field goal is good. So a 44-yard field goal by Matt McLeod. 4:02 left to go on the clock. You see the score, only a 4-point lead now for the Cougars, who led 21-6 after the first quarter, and at halftime they had a 10-point 30-20 lead. So right down the Cougars need to get it going offensively to try to increase that margin. It's only a 4-point lead.
They're going to have to get something going. This quarter they haven't been able to get a drive going, and the Oregon Ducks have been able to just chip away at the lead. They've had 2 good drives now.
Duck cheerleaders have been something to yell about here in the second half anyway, as 2 Matt McLeod field goals pulls the Ducks to within 4. And it's been the second half where the Cougars have been doing all their damage offensively this year. Looking at the score by quarters this season, the Cougars with 34 in the third period and 87 points in the fourth period. Especially marking those games the last 3 weeks against USC, UCLA, and that unbelievable come-from-behind win last week at Stanford Stadium in Palo Alto against the Cardinal, winning 49-42 after being down 42-14. Well, the penalty against Washington State will be tacked on the kick here by Dean Otto. Good job by Cherry running the football in that drive for Oregon. Ball is teed up at the Cougar 45. Junior Tatalotowski, one of the deep men for the Cougars.
He has to be careful here, because if he kicks it straight out of the end zone, the ball would go to the 30 rather than the 20.
The onside kick, and it's covered nicely by Gerald Waters. Great job by Waters. The ball came right to him, and now tempers are really flaring down on the field. The Ducks downfield quickly, but Waters just simply pounced on the football, and a good job to bring it in and keep it right there, and the Cougars have good field position at their own 34. Watch Waters.
We saw in practice yesterday where Otto was having trouble kicking an onside ball and making it bounce. The head coach was trying to show him how to do it. The ball just didn't bounce. It just skidded along the ground, and that's not a very good onside kick.
1st and 10 for the Cougars at their own 34. Need to get something going here in the second half, leading 30-26. Almost intercepted by Don Pullum, the linebacker. Cullum bobbled the football and didn't hang on. I believe it was Jamie Olsen trying, the intended receiver trying to get to the football, but Cullum was out in front of him.
Mark Rypien follows the tight end all the way from the line of scrimmage, and he telegraphed that ball. Then he tried to force it in there. It wasn't a very good throw at all.
Second down at 10. Jamie Olsen shot in at tight end for the injured Ben Slayton, but the ball never got there. Rypien, pitch out to Mayes. 20, 45, 50. Rueben Mayes on the carry. He's got the first down for the Cougars before Don Judge makes the stop for the Ducks. Rueben Mayes lost his shoe, but he's got the first down.
This is the counter option. They fake to one side, and then they come back to the other side. Give the ball to the man you know is going to get some yards. That's a great block by Kirk Samuelson. Great block to allow Mayes to pick up some more yards.
Samuelson, the offensive right guard, 6'4", 256, paving the way for Rueben Mayes. First and 10, right at midfield for the Cougars. Motion to the near side is Breland Rypien, keeps the football, and he gets down to the Ducks, spins away, still on his feet, the 30, and down to the Duck 24-yard line, and what a run by Mark Rypien. The tackle by Todd Welch and Holmberg. He shedded about 4 tacklers.
That's one of the few times today he's kept the ball. But he's a big, strong running back, and everybody thinks he's gonna pitch it out. He keeps it, and no one wraps up.
Look at that.
Samuelson does a good job by keep blocking and doesn't allow anyone to just get good contact with him. And Rypien's going to challenge the tackler. Instead of going to slide, he runs and challenges him. That's a good job.
That's one of the best runs of the afternoon by either side. First and 10 for the Cougars at the Oregon 24-yard line. Rueben Mayes across the 20, and he is down at the Duck 19. Wendell Kaysen and Bob Units combined on the tackle. Rueben Mayes well over 200 yards.
It's a dive play, and you can see his ball is supposed to go inside, but he just goes to the outside. Off tackle play, picks up some good yardage.
Picked up 5 and his second down and 5 for the Cougars. Marching downfield. The chase is wide to the far side in motion. There's James, and it's Rueben Mayes. Mayes, the 10, across the 10. First and goal for the Cougars inside the Duck 10-yard line. He is amazing, Rueben Mayes.
He's picking up yardage that he's not supposed to pick up. He was clearly supposed to be stopped on that play. He puts his head down and shoulders and breaks some tackles and then loses some men.
Bounces off 2-3 people right there.
That's a great run right there.
Dives for 4 yards. 2:09 to go here in the third quarter. The Cougars lead 30-26, well within the range, the field goal range of John Trout, but with a running of Mark Rypien and Rueben Mayes, a chance to put 7 up on the board. Split backs, Mayes and Calvin. And it's Richard Calvin. Richard Calvin, touchdown Cougars!
Counter trap, they fake the pitch to Mayes and come back with a trap to Calvin, and the hole is wide open and stays on his feet and goes in for the score.
9-yard touchdown run by Richard Calvin. Nothing fancy, just over the left side and behind the block
of Samuelson.
Samuelson gets away from a tackler, spins away and gets inside the end zone for the Cougars score. 36-26. The Cougars back out to a 10-point lead, but John Trout is in there to try for the extra point.
That was a much-needed drive.
A 7-point lead, excuse me. Now the kick, and it is good. No doubt about it. And with 1:51 to go in the third quarter, our score, it's the Cougars within the range, the field goal range of John Trout, but with a running of Mark Rypien and Rueben Mayes, a chance to put 7 up on the board. Split backs, Mayes and Calvin. And it's Richard Calvin. Richard Calvin, touchdown Cougars!
Counter trap, they fake the pitch to Mayes and come back with a trap to Calvin, and the hole is wide open and stays on his feet and goes in for the score.
9-yard touchdown run by Richard Calvin. Nothing fancy, just over the left side and behind the block of Samuelson. Samuelson gets away from a tackler, spins away and gets inside the end zone for the Cougars scoring. 36-26. The Cougars back out to a 10-point lead. But John Trout is in there to try and finish the point. In front of the Ducks.
Yes, it is. doing a good job
on the last 2 drives. The Cougars lead this. Richard Thomas, congratulations on the Cougars have won. Watch his back. Gets hit. The pass comes away. Runs right by Don Dunham in for the score. 37-26 our score in the third quarter with 1:51 on the clock. And the Cougars trying for their second Pac-10 win of the year. Head coach Jim Walden. 3-4 overall. That would even up his record on the season. So far today, Mayes has 24 carries for 232 yards.
I think he's doing a pretty good job today.
Not bad.
Not
216 yards last week. His third 200-yard game of the season. Big by Trout.
And it's still the third quarter.
Tony Cherry at his fourth. Upfield, the 15, the 20. Breaks away! The 40, and he is down at the 45-yard line. Lost the football, but he is called down. I believe, no, it's recovered by Washington State. Gerald Waters made the hit, and it's recovered by the Cougars. Big break for Washington State, the fumble.
Every time Trout kicks a short kick, you have a good return by Cherry, and look at that wall in front of him. That's great blocking. And it's a good tackle. The ball is stripped for him before he hits the ground. Good call by the referee.
And it's recovered by Ron Collins. He came up with the big plays last week. And comes up with a mighty big one right here, and the Cougars offense is right back on the field. First and 10 at the Duck. 47-yard line. Rypien has Chase open in the flats. He gets the ball to him. Chase is down at the Oregon 41-yard line. Trying to put on a move. He slipped a little bit. Lost his footing. Todd Walsh on the tackle.
Tackle by Todd Wells.
That looked kind of like a late developing play. They had Chase on there for the off-outlet receiver. He looked like he was going to go deep first. Then he didn't have a deep receiver, so he threw it to Chase. And
he knew he had Rick Chase wide open. He wanted to take a look downfield one more time.
Exactly. You can see what that slippery turf does. He couldn't get his feet on him to go get any more yards.
A gain of 6. Second down and 4 at the Oregon 41-yard line. Up the middle, Rueben Mayes. He's got the first down and a lot more all the way down to the Oregon 20-yard line.
That man is something else.
Doug Judge on the tackle, and Rueben Mayes may end up with 300 yards before this day is over. 55 seconds remain in the third quarter. Watch Rueben Mayes run.
Just a straight dive play over the tackle. Not only is he powerful, but he's showing some nimble feet there.
All the way down to the Oregon 21-yard line. He had 861 yards coming into the afternoon's game. 253 yards, 25 carries, and a couple of touchdowns, including a 70-yard run. Rypien keeps the ball himself, and he's out to the Oregon 15-yard line, tripped up by Dale Dorney, the defensive left end. Cougars lead 37-26. Jamie Olson checks in with head coach Jim Walden, and now Michael James in there along with Rick Chase. Will Stepanovich is in there defensively for the Ducks. And time running down. It looks like we're going to go to the fourth quarter without another play being snapped off. And that's the end of the third quarter. Our score after 3 periods of play, what a ball game. It's the Cougars 37 and the Ducks 26. We'll be back right after these messages.
I'm laughing, but I hate you said that.
Fourth quarter getting underway. 37-26. The Cougars lead the Ducks. Second down and 5 for the Cougars at the Oregon 17-yard line. It's Rueben Mayes, the man of the day, gets the carry and out to the Duck 12-yard line before he's stopped by Todd Welch. Rueben Mayes with over 250 yards running the football, a shot at 300 yards today with 14:45 now to go in the football game.
Looks like this man gets stronger as the game goes on. He gets stronger.
That's what he did last week in that win against Stanford. Kept him right on going. We're down and 1 for the Cougars. Rypien keeps himself
Going to be close.
Todd Welch again is there to make the tackle for the Ducks. And they will have to bring the chains out to see, maybe not, see whether or not Rypien got the first down. And now officials time out, and they will measure it.
Looks to me like he's short.
Fourth quarter, a look at the crowd here at Autzen Stadium this afternoon. Head coach Rich Brooks.
Maybe short by a credit card. No, length of a football.
So it'll be fourth and less than a yard for the Cougars. And Washington State will go for it. Mark Rypien stays in the ball game. Checking in with a play from the sideline is Michael James.
I wonder who they'll give it to.
Oh, I'll take a guess and say maybe Rueben Mayes. Ron Zepp into the ball game defensively at middle linebacker. Or as an extra linebacker for the Ducks. Here we go. It is fourth down and less than a yard. Mark Rypien to Rueben Mayes. Mayes the 5. Touchdown. Washington State. It's Rueben Mayes. They needed fourth at about the length of a football, and they go all the way for the score. The Cougars are back up on the board, and Rueben Mayes, his third touchdown of the day.
Richard Calvin did a great job of faking like he had the ball. He jumped into the line of scrimmage, which pulls about 4 people, and just pitched the ball to Mayes and let him run. Surprised me, though. I thought they were going to give it to someone else.
Rueben Mayes, the touchdown, and now Trout for the extra point. Snap from center, and the kick is up, and it is good. And with 13 minutes and 49 seconds left to go in the ball game, our score, it's the Cougars 44 and the Ducks 26.
Boy, this game is turned around in a matter of minutes.
Once again, the touchdown run of Rueben Mayes.
As you see the fake by Calvin, the jump in line of scrimmage like he had the ball. The quick pitch to Mayes.
And he's home free.
Great block on the outside by Jamie Olsen.
That gave him the room he needed. And after that, he was wide open. An 11-yard run.
We've been talking about how good Rueben is running, but we have to give extra credit to the people that are blocking for him, because as we've seen, there have been some outstanding blocks that have allowed him to have some room.
You bet. People like Jamie White and Dan Lynch, Kurt Ladinas, Kirk Samuelson, Mike Dreyer, and Jamie Olsen along the offensive front line that have given Mayes the room to run all day long. Rueben Mayes with his third touchdown. He had 5 last week. Has he been something?
So far, he has 27 carries for 286 yards and 3 touchdowns.
And Rueben Mayes now with 11 touchdowns this year. Last week against Stanford, he had the 5. And Mayes now with 13 touchdowns in his Cougar career. What a year. So Rueben Mayes went into the ball game. So take a look at the deep man, Anthony Newman. Mayes came into the ball game the 5th leading rusher in the nation. Low kick. It'll skitter out to Cherry at the 6. Upfield at 20. Oh, brothers, he hit. But at the 22-yard line, he is hit by Ted Hornduff, a defensive back. He put the stick on Tony Cherry.
Yes, he did. That's one way to stop a long return.
Ducks, 1st and 10 at the 21-yard line. Fans here at Autzen Stadium. A little on the damp side with the rain earlier today. Kevin McCall is back there at his tailback spot. Came off the field with an injured knee earlier in the 3rd quarter. Chris Miller scrambling, rolling to his right. Pass off, and it's going to be complete to his tight end, Doug Herman, and he is knocked out of bounds at the Duck 27-yard line. Knocked out of bounds by Rico Tipton. 13:35 left to go in the ball game. And the Cougars lead 44-26. First. Second down for the Ducks. Second down and 5. McCall across the 30, and he gets out to the Oregon 33-yard line before he's hit by Lee Blakeney. So it looks like Kevin McCall is all right. When he went off the field, it looked like he had suffered a pretty good injury.
I may have just gotten, like I say, hit on top of the knee, right over the knee, and bruised a muscle, or had a frog in a muscle. In any event, he's back out there, which is good news for everybody concerned.
Found the end zone camera in behind the Oregon offense. Miller in trouble, but is able to get the pass off to his fullback, Mack. But Alex is taken down by Jeff Doolin at the Oregon 35-yard line. Nice job by Miller to get rid of the football with two Cougars hanging on.
Yes, that was an excellent job by Miller. He rolls out, and it's a great rush. He just gets the ball away. Good heads-up play.
Jim Krakowski has him around the waist, but he's able to get the pass off to Mack, and then Jeff Doolin is there to make the tackle. Gain of 2, second down and 8 for the Ducks at their own 35-yard line. Here's sideline, and open is Holman, the split end, and he's out of bounds. Got the football, but he cannot stay in bounds. He had enough for the first down, but Jeff Doolin depending on the play, but Holman does not stay in bounds. Third down and 8. Cougars with a touchdown here in the fourth and final period, an 11-yard run by Rueben Mayes to make it 44-26 Cougars.
We haven't heard much from Lou Barnes this half.
Oh, we haven't. Similar to last week's game. Miller scrambling. Has the first down. Cross midfield, the 40, and run out of bounds by Cedric Brown at the Cougar 35-yard line, and a big gainer by sophomore quarterback Chris Miller. Ricky Reynolds and Cedric Brown both are there to run Miller out of bounds.
Just as I was saying that, I saw Lou Barnes come across the middle. He looked like he was open, but Miller was flushed out of the pocket, and he did a good job. As we see again, he looks like he's open, but Miller does a good job of setting up his blocks and picking up yards. Look at him tightrope that sideline.
First and 10 for the Ducks. Out of the Cougar 37-yard line. Pass to the far sideline, and it is incomplete. Intended for split end Scott Holman. Getting back to finish up a thought, you mentioned Lou Barnes, and the Cougar defense doing a good eye keeping Lou Barnes in check. Did the same thing last week against the leading pass receiver for the Stanford Cardinal, Emil Harry.
That's right. They have done a good job in stopping their primary receiver for the opposing team, which causes the offense to go to another receiver. So the other receivers have to pick up the slack. The last 2 weeks so far, they haven't been able to do it.
Second down and 10 for the Ducks. Over the middle, complete to the tight end Herman. Has it, and he gets down to the Cougar 24-yard line. And that'll be a first down for Oregon. Tackled by Jim Krakowski. Some of the fans here at Autzen Stadium. The umbrellas are out. Here's the pass completion.
This is a play where the tight end just steps back like he's blocking, and once the linebackers flush out, he just releases inside. Quarterback pops him with a quick pass and picks up a first down.
First and 10 for the Ducks at the Cougar 24. Downfield over the middle and open is Barnes, and Barnes gets all the way down to the Cougar 2-yard line. And there's Lou Barnes, the big playman for the Oregon Ducks.
Miller had plenty of time to set back in the pocket. He had plenty of time. He didn't have any chance of anybody coming to sack him. He gets to see everything that's going on, and he throws a beautiful snap pass to Lou Barnes.
Big gain right there as Gerald Waters and Ricky Reynolds in on the tackle. But now it's first and goal for the Ducks, all the way down to the Cougar 3-yard line. Nice catch by Lou Barnes. Miller scrambling, and he is knocked down at the Cougar 5-yard line.
The referee just got hit.
Brad Harrington made the stop, and a referee was hit a knockdown on the play, and he is on his back, and hopefully he'll be all right. Took a pretty good shot. Miller rolling to his left, looking for somebody open in the end zone, has to scramble. Jim Krakowski almost gets to him. Here comes the hit on Miller by Harrington. It just flattens him to the 5, and now the referee is hit here by Jeff Doolin, and whoa, got him right on the side of the knee.
Oh, wow.
Jeff Doolin came out to try to put the stop finishing touches on Miller. The referee took a hit from the side.
Yes, he got hit right on the knee. And that knee gets caught, and he can't bend it.
Right.
That hurts to look.
Now the referee is up. That is okay. A little sore for a while.
He'll be sore tomorrow. Once it cools down, he'll be sore.
A light rain falling. Cougar cheerleaders. Cougars leading 44-26 with 11 minutes to go in the ball game. But the Ducks have the football down at the Cougar 4-yard line. And his second down for Oregon. Rolling to his right. Very good rush. Pass off in the end zone. Diving Barnes, and he can't get to it. Low Barnes diving out of the end zone. That's the man that Chris Miller wants to look for when he's in trouble.
Why not go to your favorite receiver when you want to get a score? You need something big to happen.
Chris Miller in the first half was 7 of 14 for 108 yards. I like the way he throws the football. Only a sophomore. He's going to mean a lot to the Ducks offense the next 2 years here.
He throws the ball with a lot of authority.
Third and goal at the Cougar 3-yard line. Motion Barnes. Sets back the other way. The handoff goes. Touchdown. Tony Cherry on the touchdown for the Ducks. And it's now 44-32, Washington State. 3-yard touchdown run by Tony Cherry. Wasn't sure exactly who had the football, but it's Tony Cherry into the ball game.
Follow your lead blocker, and there's a very nice hole there. Why not give it to him? He's been picking up nice yardage every time he's touched the ball. Picks up a 3-yard gain for a touchdown.
That's his second touchdown of the season for Tony Cherry, and they will go for the 2-point try. Over the middle, and it's going to be complete. Does he hang on? And yes, he does. They get the 2-point conversion.
Barnes. Is that Barnes?
Yes. Our score, 10:42 left to go in the ball game. It's the Cougars 44, the Ducks 34, and we'll be back right after these messages. With 10:42 left to go in the ball game, our score, the Cougars 44 and the Ducks 34. A 3-yard touchdown run by Todd Cherry, and it was Todd Cherry who caught the 2-point conversion pass from Chris Miller. And it's a 10-point ball game. The Wind pick it up here at Autzen Stadium. Drive of 79 yards for the Ducks on 11 plays. The last scoring drive for Oregon. And they did it in 3 minutes and 2 seconds. Junior Tatalotowski, one of the deep men, along with Rueben Mayes for the Cougars.
I wonder if they would try an onside kick here.
Deonato getting ready to tee up the football at the 40-yard line. Now head coach Rich Brooks.
Not only do you want to keep it out of the offense's hands, but you want to keep it out of Rueben Mayes' hands. I Rueben Mayes is coming over to the near sideline, the Cougar bench. Rich Brooks had a few words with one of the officials, and Rueben Mayes and Tatalotausi will head back as the deep men at their own 10-yard line.
Looks like the Cougars are ready for something here.
They got 5 men up front, 6 yards deep, they have 4, and then it's Tatalotausi and Mayes back at the 10. 10:42 to go in the ball game, and the kick is away, and it's going to go to Rueben Mayes at its 12-yard line. The 20. Mayes picks his way down to the Cougar 30-yard line.
Boy, had he not lost his footing on that one, he may have picked up a little more yards. And who do they kick it to? Rueben Mayes.
Here's where Mayes is so talented. He just knows exactly where to go. He finds his blocking, picks the holes, heads on through, has a quick acceleration. First and 10 for the Cougars at their own 29-yard line.
He doesn't seem to be in any kind of hurry when he's running the ball.
Very poised running back. Mayes over the middle. Another big gain. All the way out to the Cougar 41-yard line. And has a first down. Picks up 11 yards on that carry like it was nothing. Dan Wilkin on the stop. Watch how easy Rueben Mayes just goes right up the middle, and look at the hole.
Yes, that's what makes it look easy too. The holes. 29 carries, 297 yards, and 3 touchdowns.
He is going to go over 300 yards easily. Over 10 minutes to go in the ball game, 297 yards.
You think he'll go over 300?
Oh, on this next play maybe. First and 10. Picked up 12 yards on that last play. I was right. The 50, 45 of the 40. Rueben Mayes over 300 yards on the afternoon, all the way down to the Duck 42-yard line. Holy smoke.
Oh my goodness.
Rueben Mayes.
This is a Rueben Mayes show today.
He is amazing.
Look at that hole.
The offensive line giving Rueben Mayes so much room to work with, and Rueben Mayes taking advantage of the room, and he has scampered well over 300 yards. First and 10 for the Cougars all the way down to the Duck 32-yard line, and that man has been brilliant. Rueben Mayes. We're going to have to check before we get off the broadcast whether or not that's a Cougar record for the most yards in a single ball game. Now he has about 320 yards rushing. Calvin out to the 30. He picks up about 2.5 yards. And the Cougars steadily all afternoon long, Paul, have been moving the football.
It seems like every time Rueben doesn't get the ball, you can hear the fans give a sigh of relief, you know.
Tony Grossi on the tackle for the Ducks. Calvin over to the bench. Some of the fans here at Autzen Stadium. Gain of 2, second down and 8. Just across the Duck 30-yard line. Motion is Marshall. The pitch out, Rueben Mayes. And Mayes is taken out of bounds by Doug Judge at the 26. Doug Judge, big strong safety for the Ducks. There he is. Knee surgery last year. It looks like he is just fine.
The Cougar offensive line has been keeping him in check so far most of the game. But they have been keeping everybody in check most of the game.
Yes. Third down and 4. Motion is James. Rypien. Just across the 25, and that is it. Down and up for the first down. Bob Huditz and Tom Welch on the tackle.
Good job by the Ducks defense then. They forced the play, come in and make the tackle before Rypien can make the pitch out.
John Trout will come on to try for the field goal attempt. Ball will be spotted at the 31, a try of 41 yards for John Trout. He can do it. Ball is set up on the near hash mark. So Trout Right-footed kicker has a good angle on it. Snap from center. The kick is up. Low line drive. It has enough distance, and it is good. Line drive through the uprights. And it's a 41-yard field goal by John Trout. And with 8:05 to go in the ball game, it's the Cougars 47 and the Ducks 34. What a ball game. There you see the score.
That was a big field goal. So now the Ducks have to score 2 touchdowns to win this game rather than touchdown and a field goal to tie it. They have to score 2 to win.
Won't be enough. So the Cougars back on the board with 3 more points. They had 49 points in last week's game against Stanford. As you look at the kick by John Trout,
they are lucky to get this ball up because it just missed one of the onrushers' hands. There's a line drive.
Looked like a Hoyt Wilhelm knuckleball going through the uprights. But it's good. Trout with a field goal. John had a 26-yard field goal with 15 seconds to go in the first half. That made it a 30-20 score as both teams retired to the locker rooms. And now a 41-yard field goal to make it 47-34. Washington State and the Cougars looking forward to hoping to get their second Pac-10 win of the year. Low line drive, takes a bounce at the 25, rolls out to Tony Cherry, bobbles the football, it's got it at 5 to 10, to 15 to 20, 45, lot of room, far sideline 40, cuts back off to midfield, spins away, still on his feet, now he's down, all the way to the Cougar 48-yard line. Outstanding run by Tony Cherry, finally stopped by Ron Collins of the Cougars.
This return is really hard to believe. They do what they want to do, Squibbit. You have 3 men there ready to make the tackle. He runs between all of them.
Breaks a couple of tackles there, then it's Collins who makes the tackle, but not before Cherry gets all the way down to the Cougar 48.
That's a 48-yard return.
So just like that, the Ducks with good field position, 7:56 to go in the ball game. Chris Miller in there all the way for the Ducks this afternoon. Over the middle, deep downfield, he's got Barnes at 25-20, and out of bounds at the Cougar 12-yard line, and just like that, flags are thrown all over the field now. It looks like a personal foul penalty against the Cougars, all the way down to the Cougar 12-yard line, and just like that, Oregon right back.
The offensive line does a good job allowing Miller to set up. Barnes just comes across the field from the right side. It comes all the way over to the left side. It's a perfect pass. They call a unnecessary roughness penalty on the secondary.
I think on Jeff Newland, who came across on the extra hit after Barnes was well out of bounds. Taken out of bounds by Waters.
That was a 36-yard pass.
Let's see, the referee is no longer in the ballgame. He was injured. That would be Gordon Reese. So it looks like we're minus the referee in the ballgame call. Personal foul against the Cougars. That brings the Ducks all the way down to the Cougar 6-yard line, where it's 1st and goal for the Ducks, and the rain coming down again.
Right when we mentioned we haven't heard from Lou Barnes, the last 2 drives, he must have heard us.
Right over the middle, and the pass was right on the money from Chris Miller, and he can run the football. 1st and goal for the Ducks at the Cougar 6. Officials still with a few things to talk over as they make sure they get it straight on the penalty on the yardage. Exactly where it's going to be stepped off as you look at head coach Jim Walden.
1 special teams play, 1 offensive pass play. The Ducks are on the 11-yard line. Cougars.
Barnes 48-yard punt return by Cherry, then the pass completion to Barnes, and then the personal foul against the Cougars. 1st and goal for the Ducks. 7:48 on the clock. The fullback to the 5 and maybe the 4-yard line. Alex Mack tackled by Lee Blakeney. 6'1", 228 pounds, senior linebacker. There's the hit by Blakeney. Straightens him up and makes the tackle. 2nd and goal at the Cougar 5. get to it. Took the ball with him out of bounds, trying for that Hail Mary pass by Chris Miller.
That was the same type of pass play Barnes scored on in the first half. This time it didn't work. So it's a fade route. They catch him in a man-to-man defense, so it's just a quick fade route. Barnes does one heck of a job going up. He almost comes down with that ball.
Rueben Mayes, with his over 300 yards rushing this afternoon, has set a Cougar record today. The old record was 261 yards. Third down. For the Ducks at the 5, and the handoff goes to Cherry. Right up the middle, and he is down at the 1-yard line. Tony Cherry in there for the injured Kevin McCall. Wow, let's see how close he got. It was first and goal at the 1-yard line. He got it up for the first down. Let him slide all the way to the goal line. We'll get back. It's first and goal for the Ducks. 47-34. Cougars lead the football game with 6:50 to go. And it goes to Cherry. He is hit in the backfield and loses maybe a half yard to a yard. Quick hit. Milford Hodge. In the goal. And Mack, the fullback. Does he get in? No, he is stopped inside the 1-yard line. So the Cougar defense hanging on. And they stopped Alex Mack. It is third down for the Ducks.
One thing to also think about, as long as they can keep this goal line stand going, more time runs off the clock.
Brent White on the tackle for Washington State. Goes to the football right at the goal line. It is third down. Cherry, and he won't get in. Tony Cherry is driven back to about the 3-yard line. Big defensive play by the Cougars. Cherry trying to go to the right side is tripped up by one of his own teammates. There is Cedric Brown to make the stop. And he nails Tony Cherry, and timeout is called. It is fourth down. Trying to see where they spot the football as quarterback Chris Miller goes to the far sideline to talk things over with Rich Brooks, and what a job defensively by the Cougars.
Exactly. This is one of the few times today we've seen that the Cougar defense control the line of scrimmage, and what better time to do it than on the goal line.
Saw the time, 5:27 the score, 47-34, Cougars lead. The Ducks trying to punch it in with Alex Mack and Todd Cherry on 3 tries. They were first and goal at the 1-yard line, and now they are fourth and goal.
I wouldn't be surprised if they went to Lou Barnes on this play.
Field goal.
He's in the game.
A field goal makes it a 10-point ball game, but Chris Miller gets back inside the huddle. They're going to go for the 6-pointer. And the ball is at the Cougar 2-yard line. Fourth and goal at the 2. Long count by Miller. And Cherry's in the end zone. Touchdown, Oregon, but flags all over the place in the end zone. Tony Cherry got it in there from 2 yards out, but we have to wait and see what the official call is going to be. That will be a touchdown. The call will go against Washington State. So a 2-yard run by Cherry. Makes it a 47-40 ball game. But now they will set up for the extra point. They try for the extra point. That would make it 47-41. There's Tony Cherry, the 2-yard touchdown run with 5:24 remaining. Matt McLeod will try for the extra point attempt, held by the quarterback Chris Miller.
Keep your eye on Miller right here. No, the kick is away by McLeod, and it is good. So with 5:24 to go in the ball game, it's Washington State 47 and the Ducks 41, and we've got ourselves a Rock'em Sock'em Pierce 6 brawl in the rain here at Autzen Stadium this afternoon. Unbelievable, Paul Johns. These two clubs have really gone at it like two heavyweights.
Yes, they have. It's been an exciting game. I guess when you have cold weather, it's good for the fans to have a game like this. As I said once before, it's not too good for the coaches who have to stand and watch this type of game, though. I have a feeling they may go for the onside kick this time.
A 6-point Cougar lead after the 2-yard touchdown run by Tony Cherry. Good job by Gerald Waters the last time on Dinato's onside kick attempt to smother the football, and the Cougars had it and brought it down for a score. 41-yard field goal attempt by John Trauck. 48-yard touchdown drive by the Ducks in 8 plays, 2 minutes and 32 seconds, chipped away on the clock. A little less than 5.5 minutes to go. Rueben Mayes and Junior Tatalotowski on the deep end for the Cougars. The penalty will be tacked on onto the kick, and Otto will tee it up at the Cougar 45-yard line. So you have to look for the onside kick right here. I know everybody is ready up front for Washington State. Otto is ready, now the shift. There's the onside kick. And it goes 10 yards, and it's covered nicely. At the Cougar 34-yard line, is it Waters or John Marshall? That broke Rich Brooks. Good job again on the onside kick.
That was a little better onside kick, but it doesn't get that high hop you want it to get.
Again, Gerald Waters. Good job by Gerald Waters to cover the football. 1st and 10 for the Cougars at their own 34-yard line. And the fans for the Ducks making a lot of noise right here at Autzen Stadium. 5:23 to go in the ball game. In motion to the near side is Marshall. The handoff goes to who else? Rueben Mayes over the left side of the line. He's out to the 40. Rob Marshall on the stop. Once again, getting back to Rueben Mayes, he has set an all-time Washington State Cougar rushing record with his total this afternoon. He is well over 300 yards today. The old record was 261 yards by Bernard Jackson against the Oregon Ducks back in 1971. We've got an injured player down on the field, but Rueben Mayes has just blown that record right out of the water. Again, an official down. We had Gordon Reese injured, and he is out of the ball game. The referee, look at Rueben Mayes. 334 yards, 32 carries, 3 touchdowns. He had 216 yards last week. That looks like nothing compared to what he had today, but he had the 5 touchdowns.
You think he'll try to go for 400 yards today?
He might have a shot before it's over. The rain falling down. A gain of 6 by Mayes. It is 2nd down and 4 for the Cougars at their own 40-yard line. In motion again, Marshall to the near side. Rypien. The handoff to Mayes over the middle, and Rueben gets out to the Cougar 45-yard line. A gain of 5, and it's going to be enough for the Cougar 1st down. Dan Wilkin on the stop for the Ducks, and Rueben Mayes is just plowing his way, adding more and more yardage onto his Cougar record for most yards in a single ball game. So you're seeing Cougar history this afternoon and watching Rueben Mayes.
Why not run the clock out with Rueben? No one seems to be able to stop him right now.
Not only that, he's getting the job done, moving your football team downfield, eating up time on the clock. Sam Burris wide to the near side. It is 1st and 10 for the Cougars at their own 46. Motion is James. Rueben Mayes again. He gets out across midfield, tackled by Bob Huditz.
I look for the Cougars. They've been running Rueben a lot and had a lot of success. But I see the Oregon defense scooting up, feeling that they're going to give the ball to Rueben. I look for them to throw a quick pass and try to make something happen on the pass sooner or later.
Rueben Mayes now with 338 yards rushing the football. Just over 4 minutes to go in the ball game. The rain still coming down. We had a lot of rain yesterday. 2nd down and about 5.
over the middle. He busts his way out to the Duck 45-yard line. Picks up 5 more. Dale Dorning on the tackle.
35 carries, 348 yards.
Ooh. And counting.
And he doesn't even look tired.
I think Rueben Mayes will be the offensive player of the week in the Pac-10.
I think he has a pretty good chance.
Very good chance. 3:01 to go in the ball game. Third and less than a yard to go for the Cougars at the Duck 44-yard line. And it's Rueben Mayes. He's got the first down and more. Rueben busts his way down to the Oregon 41-yard line, so he picks up 4 more yards before the stop by Bob Uditz. Rueben Mayes. Soaked jersey. You know he has to be cold. Comes out of the ball game, takes a little breather on the Cougars sideline. Jamie Olsen in there, his tight end spot. 47-41. The Cougars lead by 6 with 2:34 left on the clock.
I think they found a way to stop Rueben. They took his shoe off.
Lost his shoe earlier in the ball game. Had to come out for one play. Rypien rolling to his left. Keeps the football, and he gets the first down for the Cougars to the Duck 28-yard line. Bob Uditz again on the tackle for Oregon. Another first down for Washington State.
This is the veer, and they take it to the back, dive back, and the pitch man sees he's not going to get the ball, so what does he do? He turns up and becomes a blocker.
Mark Rypien hasn't really run all that much, but a few times he's kept the football, has picked up some good gains.
Exactly.
A lot of the fans here at the stadium now starting to make their way for the exits with 2 minutes to go in the ball game, and the Cougars lead 47-41, and the Cougars marching downfield, leading time up on that clock, and getting closer to a score. Rueben Mayes, he is hit right at the line of scrimmage.
Mayes, stopped by Tony Grossi for no gain.
Tony Grossi. On the tackle, and timeout on the field with 1:44 to go in the fourth quarter. Cougars lead 47-41. Some of the fans making their way to the exits to get a quick start out of here. But anything can happen.
Anything can happen.
I know that slogan very well.
I've heard that a number of times.
47-41, the Cougars lead the Oregon Ducks, but right now Washington State in control, barring a major turnover right here, but the Cougars have played very, very well in that department today.
Offensively, at least, they have.
Mark Rypien talking things over with head coach Jim Walden and head coach Rich Brooks. His ball club put up some points, but the Cougars have put up 6 more. Rick Chase into the ball game for the Cougars. Second down and 10 for the Cougars at the Oregon 28. No gain on that last carry by Rueben Mayes. One of the few times, maybe the only time that Mayes has been held to 0 yards on a carry. He's been averaging about 10 yards a pop. Motion is marshaled to the near side, and the handoff goes to Dickie Walsh into the ball game as a replacement, or is it Calvin? Thought it was Dickie Walsh. Third down play coming up. It's Richard Calvin, and not Walsh. Third down and 8. Cougars trying to pick up a few more yards right here and try to set up another field goal try by John Trout. Ball is right in the middle of the field at the 26-yard line. Motion Michael James. Handoff to Rueben Mayes, and Mayes dives for about 3 or 4 more yards down to that 22-yard line. Tackled there by Todd Welch. 59 seconds on the clock. And timeout is called by the Oregon Ducks. And the Cougars, Paul Johns, are marching toward their second Pac-10 win of the year. second consecutive victory. They won that super game last week, 49-42, on the verge of winning this one against the Ducks.
And that very impressive win also. And if I remember, they scored 49 points last week, 47 this week, so the offensive production has been very good. I'm sure Coach Walden is very pleased with that.
They had 24 points in a close 27-24 loss at UCLA a couple of weeks ago, and then 27 points in a 29-27 loss against USC. So John Trout will come on to try for the field goal. The time, only 59 seconds to score. The Cougars 47, the Ducks 41. Time is running out on the Oregon Ducks. Trout had a 41-yard field goal that made it 47-34, but then the 2-yard touchdown run, fourth down, 2-yard touchdown run by Tony Cherry, and the 2-point conversion made it 47-41.
This is a critical field goal for Washington State.
The extra point kick.
They're only behind. Oregon's only behind by 6 points, so this is critical.
The field goal attempt, ball spotted at the 29-yard line, and it is good. A 39-yard field goal by John Trout, and with 56 seconds to go, it's now the Cougars 50 and the Ducks 41, and that just puts the icing on the cake. Handshakes on the Cougars sideline, and this ball game is history. 50-41, a 9-point lead for Washington State. And it's going to be a happy plane ride back home for the Cougars, back to Pullman, Washington, as John Trout with his third field goal of the day. Trout with field goals of 26, 41, and now 39 yards.
Rueben Mayes has 37 carries for 356 yards and 3 touchdowns for the day.
And Rueben Mayes with a Pac-10 rushing record this afternoon, 353 yards as you take a look at the time left in the ball game. Pac-10 rushing record breaking Ricky Bell's record against Washington State back in 1976. How about that? What a day for Rueben Mayes.
I guess Washington State had a record set on them, so why not break the record with your own runner?
The deep end, Newman and Cherry for the Ducks. Now the fans are really filing out of Watson Stadium. The Cougars will go to 2-2 in the Pac-10. Back-to-back victories against Stanford. And now the Oregon Ducks as the ball just squibbles away all the way out to Cherry at the 7-yard line. Upfield at 15, trying to spin away, but is taken down at the Duck 16-yard line. 50 seconds to go. Cedric Brown on the tackle. Well, next week, the Cougars will be back home after playing the last 3 games on the road. Back home to take on the Beavers against Oregon State. You can follow all the play-by-play right here on the Super Channel. 1 week from today. On first down, Miller back to throw. Down by 9. Hooking across the middle, and it's almost intercepted by Rico Tipton. Pass intended for Lou Barnes over the middle, but he was covered. And it's second down and 10. Play uses up only 5 seconds, 45 seconds to go.
I'm sure Rueben Mayes will receive a nice welcome when he gets back home.
I'd say ticker tape parade would be in order. To Pullman. Man, has he been amazing. Rueben Mayes, 353 yards. Second down and 10 for Miller and the Ducks. Everybody's in the defensive secondary. The pass is off incomplete, intended for Holman. Did he get it?
I believe they called it.
Got it. Nice catch by Scott Holman. And it's a first down for the Ducks at their own 29-yard line, and you have to admire head coach Rich Brooks. Oregon Ducks still battling, 35 seconds to go. Down by 9, 50-41. Give these guys a lot of credit. Pass over the middle, and it's incomplete. Never turned around, Mike McCarty. And he was open down at the Cougar 45-yard line.
He never turns around. I guess he's figuring the quarterback is going to wait. Miller's going to wait till he goes deeper down the field. In a situation like that, as soon as you see yourself open, you have to turn around to the quarterback.
I think the ball was tipped. Still, McCarty had his back to the play.
Back to the ball.
Never saw it. Chris Miller, the quarterback, 2nd down and 10 at the Oregon 29-yard line. 29 seconds to go. Cougars will even up the record on the year at 4-4. Likewise, the Ducks, they'll go to 4-4. Pass over the middle, and that's incomplete. Low. And intended for Holman again. Incomplete at the Duck 44-yard line. That stops the clock. Rick Riz along with Paul Johns. And Paul, what is the one thing that, besides Rueben Mayes, the one thing that stands out offensively or defensively for the Cougars today?
Well, I don't know if it was offensively or defensive, but special teams, as far as their punt return, they didn't punting. They didn't have any block. They had a fairly good special teams play. Their kickoff coverage needs to be worked on a little bit more.
Downfield and deep. He's got Lou Barnes, the Cougar 40. And out of bounds at the Washington State 31-yard line, but only 16 seconds on the clock. Good pass by Miller to Lou Barnes. Ricky Reynolds again on the tackle. Lou Barnes, 5 catches for 80 yards last week. And that 17-10 loss against number 1 ranked Washington.
That was a 39-yard pass play.
1st and 10 for the Ducks, all the way down to the Washington State 31. 16 seconds to go. Cougars leading 50-41. Miller, deep. And it's almost intercepted by Cedric Brown. The pass intended for McCarty over the middle, but Cedric Brown had a better shot at the football. 2nd down and 10. Good job by Cedric Brown. Good hustle.
Miller's trying to throw the ball into a zone. Let the receiver split the zone, and it's almost picked off. And then again, it's almost made a completion. But the ball bounced off the turf.
Like that ball just took off.
It just took off. The nose was up.
Cougar fan here at the stadium this afternoon. 2nd down and 10. Tigers throw. Miller rolling to his right. Pass over the middle, incomplete, but it looked like somebody jumped offside for Washington State. Pass intended for Cherry in the middle. That wasn't quite there. 7 seconds to go in the ball game. Great job by the Cougars this afternoon. Great battle by both these ball clubs. 50-41, the Cougars lead. At halftime, they led 30-20. What a game. And what a day for Rueben Mayes, setting a Pac-10 rushing record, 353 yards, and also with it a Washington State rushing record for a single game mark. Unbelievably, at 3 touchdowns. John Trout had 3 field goals. Cougars, right after Oregon in this ballgame, they took an early 14-0 lead. All the coaches very pleased.
This will probably be the last play of the game. 7 seconds.
Wide to the right is Lou Barnes. Chris Miller. Deep to Barnes, well covered, and it's knocked away in the end zone, and 2 seconds on the clock. Joe Waters was there, defending on the play. 2 seconds to go in the ball game.
Third down, 26.
Third down, coming up for the Ducks. Great job by quarterback Mark Rypien. There's John Trout, who had the 3 field goals today. Rypien, good job running the football as well as throwing it. And a big run early in the 4th quarter. And this will be the final play of the game. 2 seconds to go. Cougars leading 50-41. Miller dropping back to throw. Rushing, keeps it himself to 20-15. Time runs out. Miller to the 10-yard line, knocked out of bounds, and the ball game is over. The Cougars win it. The final score of 50-41. What a ball game by both these ball clubs, and the Cougars now 2-2 in Pac-10 play, and the Ducks go to 2-3. Final score: the Cougars 50 and the Oregon Ducks 41. We'll be back with a final recap right after these messages.